The Z to Z Podcast.
Good morning, good evening, or good day, and welcome to the Z to Z Podcast, the home for Xbox achievement hunters and Gamerscore junkies. I'm your host, Brandon Freeman. Thank you so much for listening. At Z to Z, we love gaming and in particular, grabbing achievements and gaining Gamerscore. We do news, reviews, and interviews. If it's about achievements, we'll unlock it. Well, I'm taking the week off, and that means Tarragon is hosting, and we won't even get to the part where he starts messing things around because I am going to do it right now. Well, just kind of a little bit of spring cleaning for the podcast. Now, despite this long-winded intro, we'll be shoring up the lead-in, and I'll be overhauling the closing of the show to some extent. And because of the start of a new month, we've got a ton of contest updates to talk about, but that contest is being moved to the very end of the show. I mean, like, after I say goodbye, as a completely separate segment. So if you've already heard it a million times and don't really care to it, you're free to sign off at that point, but I totally recommend you stick around and catch what we have to say. Certainly if you're a new listener, and we explain some of the contests and things that are happening in our awesome community. We're just trying to get better. So if you have any suggestions that would improve this podcast, anything you want to hear, see, do, let us know. And we would love your feedback. We'd love to know how to make this the best achievement podcast on the interwebs. You know, you can find show notes for this show as well as previous shows on our website, zzz.com. This is episode 72. You can also contact us with questions and comments on Twitter at zzzzedtozed, over at our forums, forum.zzz.com, or email us directly, contact@zzz.com. Today's show is brought to you by the achievement Spring Cleaning in the game Assassin's Creed Brotherhood. This achievement, in the spirit of tidying up, asks Ezio to find a commoner milling around sweeping. Simply bump into him or punch him in the face, whatever, and cause them to drop their broom. Pick up that broom and go find a guard somewhere. Casually walk up and impale him with your broom. Okay, fine. Maybe you don't actually impale him, but when you do kill him with that broom, you get the achievement. Special thanks to developer and publisher Ubisoft. And if you, our fantastic listeners, have a suggestion for an achievement sponsor, let us know. Of course, we got Twitter and email are the best, but you can also chat with us on our community at Discord. That is discord.me/Z2Z. So, if you like my intro, awesome. If you don't like my intro, Tarragon, you do an intro.
It's the Z to Z Podcast.
Good afternoon, good evening, and good generic time of the day. This is the Z to Z Podcast, the show for Xbox achievement hunters and Gamerscore junkies. My name is Tarragon, and with me today we are show regular, the Grey Ghost himself, Crandy.
Hey.
And we also have a man that needs no introduction.
That's my name now?
Yep. And we also have a man that needs no introduction. Well, actually he does, because otherwise you won't know who he is. It's the number one gamer score in Canada, number two gamer score in the world, number one completions in the world, and all-around nice guy, Stephen Rowe, a.k.a. Smrnov. How are you?
I'm doing very well. Thank you very much.
Good. All right. So we don't have Freem and we don't have Prue this week. So as is what usually happens when I host these shows, I tend to mix these things up a bit. So I was going to start and just go straight into some brief news and then get into a bit of a topic for the week. So first things first that I wanted to talk about is now Checkpoint. Checkpoint.org, which is a not-for-profit organization that I work for, basically working on mental health and video games and how gaming affects mental health and all the subjects around that. We actually had Dr. Jennifer Hazel from Checkpoint on several episodes ago. They're launching a Kickstarter to do a web series based around video games and mental health, and they asked us to mention it. So that's actually kicking off on May the 1st, and I will put a link in the show notes for people who might want to check that out. So yeah, certainly check that out. They're a very good organization, and Jennifer Hazel is a really lovely person. So, yeah. Now, Randy, you had some follow-up on Interplay from last week.
I do. I got a tweet back from Stephen Kick / @PripyatBeast, and he linked me to what I assume is the I mean, it says confidential on it, but it is definitely not confidential because the link is open to anyone. It's hosted on Google Docs. Confidential.
Confidential. Quote.
Confidential in that it is not publicly posted on the internet, but you could just share it with anyone. A link to the kind of, I guess, I don't know what you would call it, like an investor package, investor proposal kind of package. Done up by, I assume I think I want to call them an investment bank. I don't know if they're an investment bank, but that type of company that is selling Interplay's portfolio. And it lists everything in there. There was actually a bit more than I was expecting, but it's weird. So if it starts off, there's a whole bunch of pages about just kind of general things about the games industry, like you can do microtransactions on mobile, you can do, and like all this stuff, like as if you can use these IPs to do that, but they don't really propose any actual thing to do with them. They're just like, look, mobile is growing. None of these are mobile games. So like there's like a bunch of stuff that doesn't matter, and then they start listing off the IPs, and you know, as we kind of suspected last week, it's pretty much just Earthworm Jim and Clay Fighter. Now, they claim to have Star Trek. I don't think they have I mean, they might have... It seems like they have a few Star Trek games.
Yeah, we were looking at that before the show. So was it Star Trek? What was the one? The Galactic Command?
I closed it. Yeah, okay. Old Star Trek and 25th anniversary and... Starfleet Academy or something.
Starfleet Academy, yeah.
Old Star Trek games. But the thing that is kind of misleading to me is they just call it Star Trek. I mean, they don't say like Star Trek games, like it's just Star Trek, like as if it's kind of unrestricted rights to Star Trek, which I don't think it is. It's funny because Steven pointed out in the tweet, he says, you'll notice they offer up the Star Trek IP because, you know, they somehow own it. Like, so I guess, I don't know. It's just kind of funny. And then they've got winners. Let me see if I can find it here. Such as American Bull Rider. That's a big value, American Bull Rider. I think maybe they had one game.
Is that like Cruising USA? American Bull Rider, yeah.
They've also got American Deer Hunting. Crime Does Not Pay. Don't know what that is. Then just like it just kind of devolves into like more obscure. They've got VR Baseball. Don't know what that is. Poker
That's
Night.
Probably come full circle.
Yeah, I know. Poker Night. The other one that's interesting was they have a bunch of Caesar's Palace gambling games. Another one that I really question, do you really have the rights to use the name Caesar's Palace anymore? I mean, maybe you have the rights to the games, but you probably can't sell them.
Yeah, it depends on the agreement, I guess. But yeah.
So
are you really selling rights, or are you selling ports of games? Is kind of what it sounds like.
Yeah,
we can port these things we did, not have the rights to the.
Yeah, and it's like, and they've got Casper, another one. Like it's a lot of this stuff, and even some of their biggest titles they list on here, like Dark Alliance, I think, is a Warhammer game. It's Warhammer or Dungeons and Dragons, and I mean that's probably going on 10 years old again, and I doubt they still have the full license to that. So I don't know, it just kind of goes back to them asking $10 million for this when you probably can't even use half of it if you were to buy it.
Yeah, or I suspect a lot of those things have a relicensing clause within their contracts. So if you wanted to do something with it, you have the option to enter negotiations, I guess. But
yeah, and then you have to pay even more money on top of the $10 million just to relicense that thing that you just paid a ton of money for. So yeah, I think this is going to be sitting here for a very long time because.
So no Earthworm Jim in our future in any time soon. Is what
I don't think so. But Boogerman is in there. That's another one that's excellent. Is Boogerman is in there. Well, and then the other thing with Earthworm Jim that I think I mentioned last week that I didn't look into, which maybe I should. is I don't even know if Interplay has the full rights to Earthworm Jim. They definitely have the rights to 1, 2, and 3 because those are on GOG. But I don't know if they have the rights to make a new Earthworm Jim because I don't think they have kind of like exclusive ownership of him. I think
sounds like a bit of a mess, really.
Yeah, it really does. So that was interesting and just kind of confirmed our suspicion. And it was very cool that I got a response with the whole like package that you would get when you actually want to, think about buying it. So that's pretty cool.
Cool.
It was a good read.
Yep. Xbox Quick, otherwise known as Mike Ibarra on Twitter, tweeted the other day that there was 700 million Gamerscore earned in 7 days, which I thought was an interesting figure. And I actually tweeted True Achievements about this just to say, well, how much of that was actually earned by True Achievements members? And that figure turned out to be about 50 million. So I did some sort of back of envelope calculations just based off some rough figures I had about the Xbox population and the population of TA and so forth. And it turns out that TA members are about 10 times more efficient at getting Gamerscore than the average the average gamer on Xbox. So that was sort of interesting stats there. But I'd figure that probably at least a quarter of that 700 million was you, smrnov. Just
there we go. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. No. The 700. That's right.
Yeah.
No. My gamer score in the last week has not been that high. It's maybe earlier in the month though.
Okay, so it's only 10, 20,000 or something. Yeah. Now this one was interesting. I saw this on Reddit, and it was kind of one of those almost a copy pasta creepy ghost story kind of thing, but somebody was in a party and they'd been in a party with their significant other all night and they'd been playing games and whatever, and then they were signing off and they sort of said bye, and then somebody else said bye in the party and there was nobody else in the party. It's just like, what? And this person was a woman. She just basically freaked out because she thought she'd been sort of couldn't work it out and was assuming that, either her party chat was being broadcast somewhere or something weird was going on. Well,
and so that she was also home alone, right?
Yes. So it was
which
just
added to it at night.
So, yep. So the assumption is that somebody entered her party and it was an open party and she didn't notice, and that person then left immediately after saying bye. However, Freem actually had much the same thing happen, as in he could hear other people who were not in the party over his party chat. So there's something wacky going on with party chat.
Interesting.
So I just thought I'd put that out there because that's 2 instances of weird things going on with party chat. I also know there was a recent, I think the preview update, there was some breakdown of the party chat stuff going on. So I think there's development happening in that at the moment. But if you hear weird things in party chat, probably worth reporting it because something odd's going on.
The other thing with the story... Oh, go ahead.
That or the NSA is getting much less subtle.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, that was actually... Now that you
We're not actually listening. Bye.
It's good that you commented on that because that was the next thing. Is there was another comment in this thread with a similar story, except it was a guy and his significant other on the phone for long hours at a time. And this one night they heard this beep, and then a robot voice said, "Now recording." Neither of them did anything. And they were like, what? Like, what? Just, what is, are you, they're both kind of like, what? Why are you recording this? Like, what's going on? And they're like, no, we're not recording. So, yeah, that's kind of like, did the NSA, accidentally broadcast their
the wrong button.
And that was the thing, like, they called the phone company, they, did all this stuff. And they were saying, to this day, they have not figured out, and this was years ago, have not figured out what that was. So, yeah, that was a good read, that thread.
Studio Gobo. I think we've been talking for a while about there not being much news in the way of sort of first party, or not first party, but sort of exclusives or new IP for Xbox. But Studio Gobo, who according to their website are linked with the Disney Infinity series, they have kind of teased that they've got some kind of new relationship with Microsoft Studios. So there might be something new coming out of that. I'm guessing we'll find out more at E3, but I thought that was just interesting to note, particularly for the people interested in the Toys to Life series of games. Anybody got thoughts on that? What do you think of Toys to Life, Stephen? You haven't sort of... I've
played all those games. I think it was a nice concept when it first started, and then it was like Rock Band. The market got saturated, right? It's just you end up with so many of the same toys, but they want you to buy the new toy every year and can't you can reuse your old one, but you can't get to half of the game, right? That type of thing bugs me. But if Microsoft was to do something and maybe revive the Viva Pinata franchise, that would be pretty cool.
I didn't think of that.
Yeah,
I'd be game for that.
Yeah, I like me some Viva Pinatas. So
yeah, me too.
Yeah, we joked off air that it was going to be ex-Meebos. Ex-Meebos. I guess we'll find out. All right, so that's basically all the news I wanted to kind of cover, but I had a bit of a topic which we've had sitting there for a while, but it was called the 10 Commandments of Achievements, or it's probably more aptly named, these are the things we don't like about achievements. So
then we don't have to make a list of 10.
Yeah. No, we just basically what makes a good and what makes a bad achievement or achievement list, and we've got a few sort of options there, but I might kick it over to you, Stephen, because you've probably given the breadth and depth of games that you have played over the years. You're over 1,200 completions now, or 1,300 or something. I forget.
Total completion 1,675.
So wow, okay, over almost.
You just ruined my win of the week. That was my milestone.
Many games. You've probably got some strong opinions on what makes a good and a bad achievement list. So let's kick it over to you.
Yeah, I'll focus on the ones I had put down originally because I know others have put down some good comments, but and I'll avoid the one that Crandy will want to discuss. Randy will want to discuss later. So well,
you can talk about it. Just save it for last.
Just prepare to be interrupted.
Good. Yeah. One of the first things is no time limited achievements. So don't put an achievement in your game that's only going to work for a certain period of time based on a competition, based on skins that are only available at that time, something along those lines.
Yeah, so we were talking off air about Overwatch, I think, being notorious for that at the moment. Is that sort of where you're going with that, or?
Well, that one is, as well as like the sports games where you have to play during a live season, and that season's going to be over, and guess what? You can't get that achievement anymore.
Yeah. Yep. Killer Instinct had those for a little while as well, with certain characters that were only available for a very short period of time.
Yes. At least with those, though, if you had a friend that had the character, you could still get it.
Okay.
So it was kind of the thing, like it was just a very, very short window of time where you could buy that DLC. It wasn't like the achievement was gone, but it was just, that's dumb. I don't like that either. But at least that's better than it's like the season's over. That's it. It's over.
Yep. Yeah. So the time limited achievements, that one's one that I'll either try to get it quickly in the game when it first comes out, or I'll just avoid the game altogether. And when I say avoid altogether, I guess at the end of the day, I'm willing to get whatever I can out of any game and move on, but I'll be less inclined to start that game.
Yeah, I was going to say is you're all about completions and getting everything. So I'd be a bit surprised if you ever really avoided a game.
That's just it. I mean, I have a completion bar of everything I can get in the game as well, right? And that includes glitched achievements, things along those lines. I'm not 100% to the point that I won't start something. I start a lot of games, but if I can't get achievements, I'm less likely to want to start that one, and we'll put it on the back burner. Okay. The other one is beat the moderator or beat a developer or something like that if it's not viral. So, if it's viral...
Are there many of those?
I want to
I was trying to think. I couldn't think of any, but
there was. What was it? I don't remember. There's one game where basically moderators were hosting it just so people get the achievement, and I got in on one of those sessions at one point.
Oh yes, I do. It's a racing game.
Yeah.
Is it Need for Speed Carbon or something like that?
Yeah, it might have been one of
those. That's it. Yeah.
But they, and they went out there and nobody had the moderator flag, and they actually went and got it for a bunch of people. But yeah, you couldn't get that virally. You had to actually get it from somebody who had a moderator flag. So has happened, not frequently, but should be avoided.
Still bad.
Yeah.
Yep.
Bad kitty, no. All right. Anything that links to an external data source that may go down. So if you link something to your forums, if you link something to a sharing service, if you link something to YouTube and YouTube changes their interface and you can no longer access it. Facebook.
I was going to say Connect and Facebook was really bad for that. I think they changed something, like some permission expired or something, like in 2012, and like a whole bunch of Facebook achievements for Connect broke. And I think all it required was they just had to log in and re-allow it. But of course no one did it because these games are like 2 years old at this point. I think the only company that did it was Harmonix. They did it for Dance Central 3.
Yeah, I think I recall what happened around there. Facebook and I think Twitter changed the way that they authenticated, and so it would have required an update to the library and the way that those games actually authenticated to the service before they posted. So yeah, it was a little bit more involved, and yeah, I'm not surprised that those titles never actually went back and fixed it. But yeah, it's a pretty obnoxious kind of achievement. We see it a lot on the Windows Phone games. They have that kind of cross-link stuff that never seems to work anymore.
I found that out the hard way with Asphalt Overdrive. I was going to play it on PC, get the freebie on the phone. Nope, app is down. Because when they take that app down, when they delist the game, the app is what syncs the data, not, I don't know what else it would be, but yeah, so
yeah,
I will not be double dipping that one.
Probably a more notorious one. Sorry,
no, Asphalt 8 still does it though. If you wanted to double dip.
Oh, if I want to spend $200 on that achievement,
it's only 100, I think. No, I haven't gotten that far.
Maybe.
Yeah. I've just been launching every day, playing some ads, building up coins.
Yeah, I think that one's still the most current though, so that will probably be up for a while. Because Overdrive was kind of a spin-off, and then they, I don't know, killed it off or something.
Yeah, probably the most notorious recently was the Connect Fun Labs Connect Share related ones, which I haven't rechecked, but I'm assuming that all of those are down just because Connect Share is probably gone. Who knows? So that was that anything else you wanted to add to that?
I have one more,
Stephen,
and then I'll just segue right over.
I'm not forgetting the last one.
I'm not a fan of games with leaderboard-based achievements where you have to be number one at something, or some small percentage of people who can only get that achievement and may or may not get cheated in some way that nobody else can ever obtain it. Hey, Randy, how you doing?
I'm going to have to dispute that, of course.
I can't imagine why.
So I like as we all know, I'm a big fan of leaderboard achievements for some reason.
Can I just ask, do you actually like them, or do you just kind of have this Stockholm syndrome thing going on where you got one and then kind of like you just had to get the rest of them?
Because both, because it's the incredible satisfaction with finishing it, but it's just horrible getting to that point. Like, but there's no other achievement like that. Like when you get that achievement, it's amazing. It's like the best thing ever. But there's just, getting there is the problem. But
I have done any multitude of them.
I will agree with you though. Definitely on the leaderboards with potential for hacking, glitching, like Lost Planet 2 PC. That kind of ruins it. But as far as I know, that's the only leaderboard achievement that's been affected by that. So most of the rest are okay. Just don't do it on PC, I guess.
Did you get Red Bull Crash Dice?
I did.
Okay.
That one, courtesy of I got really close pre-reset, but I got lucky when they reset it one of the 2 or 3 times and got in early.
It's probably only they're only good if they say reset every week or something like that. So you have a window
then it's just
where you can
freebie.
get it.
Yeah.
That's not a real one. It's a freebie.
It's a race.
Well, then that shouldn't.
You gotta have
exist.
like Quake 4, like Quake 4. You know, those have been there forever. Grav was kind of reset, but it's plenty back up there now, so it's good.
Yeah, you were talking about Graw off air, Stephen, and that kind of set you back a bit from what I gather.
Yeah, well, there's 3 months where I pretty much wasn't scoring much at all, and for just continually running tags through lobbies.
Oh yeah,
building a ladder, and
I know how that goes.
Yep.
I did that for years, as we know. I did play some other things in between, but yeah. So you guys covered all of mine in the list. So I guess I can read Freem's, I guess.
Yeah.
Which he had some good ones. Difficulty achievements must be stacked. Yes, I'm looking at you, Perfect Dark Zero.
Infernal Hell's Vengeance.
And there's
Aragon.
It's always like the worst games that don't do it too. Like the game that you really don't want to play 4 times. It's like, yeah, you got to play it 4 times. It doesn't stack. No 0 point achievements.
I was just on the difficulty ones. Even you can put even a slight nod to things like Aero, which has. It's not so much that they don't stack; they may stack. It's just that you need to pretty much unlock. You pretty much have to unlock everything in the lower difficulty before you can go to the next one up. Anyway. That I think that deserves an honourable mention or a dishonourable mention in that same category.
Yeah. So no 0 point achievements.
I dispute that.
I don't totally hate them. I mean, I don't love them, but I mean it's fine. Like if Quake 2, I would rather have Quake 2 have 9 0 point achievements than no achievements at all.
True. But I guess 0 point achievements have their place as long as they're done for things like you died or just equally silly things that aren't an achievement really that shouldn't be you shouldn't be getting points for dying 500 times, and that makes sense to have a 0 point achievement. For doing something like getting to Gen 10 on Titanfall, that's just a slap in the face.
Top of the Kane and Lynch leaderboards. Let's tie the two together.
I was just going to say Kane and Lynch leaderboards.
So that's kind of the double whammy there.
0 pointers on my tag. I sure wish they were worth points because the ratio is insane.
Yeah.
No, 0 pointers. Anyway. Multiplayer achievement should be unlockable in private matches. No. I disagree. Because then they're all freebies.
I wasn't sure about that one either, because I think multiplayer achievements that aren't super duper skill based, because then they just become unobtainable essentially for people who aren't A, extremely good at gaming in general, and B, also play that game to the exclusion of all others for a year. It's just sort of I can sort of I guess what that boils down to is achievements that aren't too hard.
And it's like. And then that kind of goes to multiplayer achievements in general, is like you shouldn't have achievements like Seriously 3.0 at all, because it's not adding anything. It's just dumb. It's just why is this there where you're just, it's like 1,000-hour achievement of nothing. You just leave your box on for like 800 hours and then play for 200. And it's just annoying. And I really have a special kind of beef with the Seriously achievements, because they don't. Seriously 1 is okay. Like 10,000 kills in a game like Gears of War that was really multiplayer focused. Yes, it's going to take a long time, but it's something that could have come through natural progression eventually if you really played it a lot. And plenty of people did get it through natural progression. I mean, if you play that game as your primary game for 2 or 3 years, you're probably going to get 10,000 kills. Now, of course, it was glitchy and didn't work properly. If it did work properly, it would have been fine. Now, Seriously 2.0 is now it's just being stupid. You just replay that campaign level for 10 hours. Whatever. It's dumb. And then Seriously 3.0 was like, what are you doing? This is not a good achievement. It's just how long can we make it?
Was it, I think it was the Assassin's Creed, some of the early Assassin's Creed ones where they put in the big flag achievements. And I think the attitude that I've saw interviews with some of the developers, or the attitude seemed to be like nobody's ever going to go for this, so they just put it in anyway. Except a lot of people did go for it, and
I was going to say.
And that pushed a lot of game design decisions in future where they kind of then expanded upon that. So it's kind of probably the fault of the hardcore achievement getters in the first place that we've ended up with achievements with ridiculous boundaries like this. But,
I mean, I was thinking the other thing too is it's probably like, oh, let's see how many people actually like waste all this time on this. It's like you shouldn't make an achievement like that.
But on the development side, how much development time did they waste putting all those flags in places and stuff? It's
yeah, really.
We could have shipped on time, but
we have 500 flags.
Yeah,
well, every level.
Just take the map, do a random XYZ random generated placement thing, and just it'll be fun.
Scatter map.
Yeah, and then the last one. Co-op achievements must unlock for both players.
Agreed. Oh, God, yes.
Yeah. Yes. Guitar Hero 3 is like the worst offender of bad achievements. You have difficulties that don't stack. You have co-op achievements that don't stack and only unlock for the host and can only be done locally. That's one for me. Online multiplayer, please. If you're going to do co-op achievements, you have to have online multiplayer. Have to. Because we don't all have friends. Some of us are rainclouds.
But if you don't have friends, how will you play with anybody online either? Oh, fake friends, of course.
Yeah, fake friends, yeah.
Right. Yeah, I've been stung with a number of those co-op ones. I think Chariot was probably particularly if it's a difficult game as well. So you've got to go through a really hard section with a friend and then go through exactly the same section again, but in the reverse order, reverse.
Even if you have friends, how likely are you to have a friend that's going to play through Chariot with you? Like somebody that's into like brutally difficult hardcore platformers, like 0% chance, like 0.
Yep.
And will they be your friend by the time it's all said and done?
Exactly.
Yeah, that's the. It's like, what are you doing? Do that thing. Put no, pull the rope up.
Well, the other one that really got me with that too was Kalimba, which was that really weird to control one that was you control 2 people at the same time with each stick, and then in co-op there's like 4 of you. So it's like it's a weird game to begin with. It's going to put people off it just because it's hard. I'm sure it was a fine game or whatever, but it's got weird controls, so it's hard to pick up. And then you have to have a local friend that's also good at this game and willing to put in the time to learn these wonky controls and play the whole game with you. 0% chance.
And then do it twice. Yeah.
That one might have unlocked for both people.
Okay. Yeah.
If anyone ever completed it, I don't know if anyone ever completed it.
A lot of the early XBLA couch co-op games were like that, where the co-op achievements only unlocked for the host, and that it's quite frustrating.
Space Track is like that, as we found out the hard way. Didn't unlock for either of us actually, but it would have unlocked for the host.
So I had, we've actually got one from Joe here, which is tracking must be integrated where possible. So that's with the Xbox One achievement tracker. So this is sort of more of a new thing. However, I'd kind of expand that to must have some kind of tracking somewhere. So even like Xbox 360 games, the good games will have tracking for like statistics somewhere within the game where you can go, okay, I've got to get 10,000 kills. How far along am I? And you can go and check your stats and go, oh, I'm at 8,300 and something. Awesome. It's the ones that have no tracking at all.
Yeah. I remember when Gears of War 2 came out and it had the achievement trackers that popped up on screen. I thought that was the most amazing thing ever. Because it would just periodically tell you, like, you know, you got, okay, you're halfway, 25 out of 50 of whatever. And you could go check it whenever you wanted. It was brilliant. Yep. Nothing did it again for ages.
But it just makes it so much better for when you're trying to chase those particular challenges and achievements to have that kind of tracking. And it's very frustrating when you don't. You're just kind of stabbing in the dark, essentially, like perhaps literally. I find it now with the Xbox One and the achievement tracker, games that don't use it really frustrate me when there's lots of repetitive actions that you have to do, and you've got no idea exactly how far through you are.
The one that blows me away that doesn't use it is Killer Instinct. You're talking a game that has approaching 500 achievements. It's a first-party game that was like the face of Xbox One games, and has and almost every one of those achievements is a cumulative action up to like 200 of that action. No tracking anywhere. Like, why? Why not? It's a first-party game and it doesn't use tracking.
Yeah, I don't get it.
It's that one. That one kills me every time and I always check it too because I forget. I'm like, oh, how close am I? Oh, I don't know, because nobody tracks anything in this game. Thanks.
Just put that one on your achievement tracker overlay.
Yeah, I was going to say, let's stream that with an overlay.
Have I unlocked it yet? Nope.
I don't know. Who knows?
It's still there on my overlay. It mustn't have unlocked yet. So another one I added, which was achievements that require a disproportionate amount of extra play to unlock. So say you do a playthrough of the entire game and it gives you get 100 kills, and then you've got to get 10,000 kills to get the achievement. So it requires a ridiculous number of replays or just silly amounts of extra work in order to unlock it, and you would never have gotten this through natural play. I think those kind of achievements are just obnoxious.
Or a game where you have to get to the top of the leaderboard and still have games played afterwards.
Yes.
You quit for.
Yep. I've still got to do that. I think I'm approaching 500 matches out of 5,000.
I have to go back to the German one for the matches. Yeah.
Oh, I want to do the German one. I really do, but it's like I don't know if I want to do another 200 hours on the leaderboard.
I don't know if it's changed since I did it, but I remember the German leaderboard going much faster.
It used to be easy. We can thank someone for pushing it higher than the the international version. So,
leaderboard politics.
Oh yes, oh yes. I've been out of the loop for a while, but I don't think that one's been reset.
I don't think they are. Is that Touch and Quick 4?
No, I don't think they haven't reset either of them to my knowledge. Yeah. But but yeah, I agree with this one. I hear Kuzak is an offender of this.
Kuzak. What's that
Windows Phone game? It was like, I think you like make math equations or something.
Yeah.
And then like you get all the achievements and like beat the game, and then there's like one thing you have to play like another 20 hours for. Same thing with Pac-Man Kart Rally. You can get all the achievements in like 2 hours, and the last achievement you have to beat the game like 45 times after you've done everything else.
Yeah.
It's like,
wow, was that like that? Was that tiny plane game as well, where you had to land like a ridiculous number of planes? It's like you've done everything else, you've competed in all the levels, but you still have to land like 100,000 planes.
That one's Flight Control. Flight Control was okay because you could just play the game. Like it was longer than it should have been, but it was at least you just play the game normally. Like then you eventually get it. Because it was, it was kind of that arcadey style, get a high score. So I had fun with that for about halfway. Then it got a little too much. But Tiny Plane it was the like endless flyer kind of.
I still have to do that.
Yeah, I don't know what I would call that style, but they've been around for a long time, where you kind of fly through and it gets faster and harder, and you avoid the obstacles before endless runners.
Yeah, it's kind of like a endless runner before there were endless runners, right?
Yeah. And that one was.
It's a one sitting thing. It's like a 2-hour thing. I've gotten anyway. I'm still working on that one. Yeah, you gotta sit there in one sitting and get it done.
You can do it in like 15 minutes or 2 hours, depending on if you do it on kids mode or not. I ended up doing it on hard because every time I tried it on kids mode, I would actually fall asleep.
Yeah,
it was so slow. I would fall asleep on the train home, and I would just be like, oh. It crashed.
Yeah, I tried to do it when I was watching TV, so
I had to do it on hard.
Bored, and I would crash because I would, oh, that's interesting. Oh, who got shot?
Yeah.
Oh,
damn. Yeah, I guess an honorable mention would be to achievements like the Smoke and Mirrors achievement in Roundabout, which it's basically that was the drive for 8 hours straight or whatever it was, or 12 hours straight or something ridiculous. So that's humorous because it's got a bit of a story related to a Penn and Teller unreleased game and their bus driving mode.
And I don't even hate achievements like that either. Like those kind of achievements, like 14 Day Survivor and Dead Rising. I mean, it's kind of like, it's annoying, but it's also fun because it's one of those things where you kind of like make an event of it. It's not something you just kind of do on a whim. It's like you plan it and you get ready to do it, and then you kind of like make a day of it, and it's fun.
The thing is that's an actual challenge, whereas getting a stupid amount of kills or landing a stupid amount of planes is not really a challenge. It's just something you have to simply sit there and grind out for hours and hours and hours and hours, more than you would actually play the game normally at all. And so, I think those they're just obnoxious more than interesting or fun. Like the 14-hour, the 7 Day Survivor, 14 hours worth of real time it's a challenge. You know what you're going in for when you do it, and getting it is actually an achievement. It's worth doing. Whereas, I don't know, spending however many hours you had to do on Wordament on one of those games.
Oh, man. The Wordament grind is brutal. That's another game that I would fall asleep on the train playing because it just got to a point where it was like, I'm so bored of this game, but gotta finish it.
It's a couple completions too, right? So you can't just...
Yeah, kind of. You finish one, then you get like 3 more like 2-hour completions out of it. So you got to put a couple hours into them, but it's not bad. It's worth doing. I mean, I don't know if it's worth doing. I don't know if I'd do it again.
It's really not worth doing.
See, now the new Wordament came out, sort of Wordament, that has the Go for the Bronze. My favorite.
Well, they're probably more attainable than probably more interesting to go for, at least, than the original Wordament ones.
I just hate those because they take a year. I don't want to have to play this on a regular basis for a year. That's my issue. Is I've done 2 of those like separate from each other because they had title updates or whatever. And then I said, I'm done with these. I'm never doing another one. And then now this one came out. So I'm like, well, I could do all the rest of them because I'm doing it for a year anyway.
Is it?
I don't think I'm going to do any.
Is the Word one downloadable yet? Because when I checked, it was not,
it was an update for Wordament for Windows, I think.
Okay.
That's what I heard. Okay. I haven't checked. I don't have Windows 10, so I can't play it anyway. But
I think,
because I just was hoping to get it before the first of the month, right? If they were gonna.
Yeah, I think it's an update for the Windows 8 version of Wordament, like Solitaire was. They just changed the name of it on Windows 10. So if you try to get Wordament for a Windows 10 computer or like install it from your history, I assume that's what it'll be.
I'll have to give it a show.
So I don't know. Like I said, I don't have Windows 10, so I can't actually check, but that's what I've heard.
Yeah, I hope they release that on UWP because
yes,
I can't see myself booting up Windows 10 every day to do that.
Well, you could probably do it on Windows Phone 10 though. I didn't think of that. It probably works on Windows Phone 10.
I don't want to boot up Windows Phone 10 either.
Yeah, that's true. It's pretty terrible.
or any Windows Phone for that matter. What is your Windows Phone collection like,
It's
Stephen?
pretty extensive, actually. I still have my Samsung Focus. I've got Windows Phones at 7, Windows Phones at 8, Windows Phones at 8.1, and a couple 10s. So mostly Nokias. I've got like an 800, 900, 950, the 700s and the brick ones. Like I said, a Samsung Focus. I have pretty much every version of the Windows Phone OS still covered with things installed with them with progress. So it's like I can't decommission this phone because it's got this game which I can't download anymore on there. And it's but my main phone is actually a 950. I still use that as my actual phone.
Okay.
No, I could never do that. I could never do Windows Phone as my main phone.
Yeah. Now I have an iPhone for work because I have an Apple Watch, so it's kind of like, well, I gotta. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Anyway.
Yeah. I have. Well, I guess that comes from the guy that uses a BlackBerry. So, but it does run Android. But still a BlackBerry.
The Blandroid.
You've probably got me. Probably got me beat on Windows Phones because I've got a 7.5, a 7.8, an 8.1, and a 10. So I don't think I don't think I ever had a 7.0. That was before my time.
I got one on launch, and it was difficult because a lot of the Canadian carriers don't.
Yeah, getting it in Canada was tough.
Yeah. I have a bunch of unlocked ones. That's pretty much what I've got.
Yeah.
All right. So the last one was achievements tied to a large number of collections that have no in-game tracking or maps. This sort of ties back to lack of tracking in general. But we mentioned Assassin's Creed, the original one earlier, and it's often cited as infamous. Here, go and collect a lot of flags, but have no tracking whatsoever. And I don't know the number of people who've gone through and they've just missed like 2 or 3 in one section, and there's absolutely no way to find them again. So you start the entire game over because you need to go through your list
because it's easier.
It's just easier to do that. Yeah.
Well, that was like Crackdown. I missed 1 orb in Crackdown.
I
did find it.
missing...
I found it about halfway through my second run over of all the orbs, but that was.
I think I did the same thing. I was missing 1 of the 500 orbs or something like that, and I had to just basically follow a video walkthrough, just going through to every single one. It's like, so I'm at this location, it's not there. I go to that location, that one's not there.
And then you check to make sure you're looking in the same place. Like, okay, that one's definitely not there. I can double check it off.
Yep. But the annoying ones there, I think, were the ones that, like, I think people had made maps of them, but some of the orbs were like layered on top of one another. So
they were so close you could hardly. I like to print a map and actually check it off.
I do too.
With the Windows 10 or with Edge, where you can actually write on a web page and save a copy of it, at least you save paper. It's pretty handy for that.
Yeah.
Cool. There was, I remember back for the Assassin's Creed 1 and 2, I think they did it for, there was actually a website where it was essentially an interactive thing, and you basically had a list of where all the flags were, and you could just basically tweet a tick box for the ones that you'd already picked up. So that was really handy at the time.
Saints Row 1 or 2, or both maybe, had that same thing, except it was a map that you could actually zoom into and expand, and on that interactive map it had every location, and then you could check those off like on the map itself, and when you clicked on them it would show you a picture of what it actually looked like.
I think
that was one of the best.
I don't think 1 had that one. I think it was Saints Row 2.
I think it was 2 as well.
Yeah, Assassin's Creed I'm pretty sure had that too. I think even
it was great.
I think there was actually a Crackdown one that was out there as well, but it was just easy to go through a video walkthrough. But yeah, they're certainly frustrating. All right, I think we've sort of plumbed the depths of that particular topic, unless there's anything else you guys want to add.
Nope, I don't think so.
All right, let's move on. Let's do a bit of a recap on what we've been doing for the past week or so, and our win of the week, of course. I might just kick it over to you, Randy, because I think you've got some things you want to talk about.
I did. So my I've got a couple wins of the week. Now I'll just go into one, and I'll use the next one next week because it's kind of spreads. So this is not achievement win of the week, which seems to be a thing for me lately. So I guess it was Thursday. Somebody parked in my drive, like not in my driveway, but it's like a little hole that like goes. There's just enough space for a car to get in and out of this slot that's kind of cut in the curb, and some guy parked halfway across. So, me and my neighbors couldn't get out of our driveway. We're trying to go to work in the morning. I had to call in and be like, "Hey, someone parked in my driveway. I can't get out." Also, which was fantastic. It's a great way to start the day. But now it was great. So they were up before me, my neighbors, and they had called the police to be like, "Hey, someone parked in my driveway. You need to come tow them." And that's exactly what they did. So, guy gets a ticket, gets towed, got to pay his ticket, got to pay his tow. Very satisfying. I was an hour late for work. They were cool with it. I just stayed an hour late. So that was great. And then this morning, someone else had parked in my driveway. Same thing. And I was like, are you kidding me?
Have you thought about a no parking sign?
They don't care. No, it's very clearly a driveway. I mean, there's not many driveways on my street, and like there's like house, no house, house. No house is clearly paved with cars in it. It's a driveway. But this morning, I saw the person come into their car, so I went over to them. I'm like, hey, you parked in my driveway. Get out of my driveway. It was very satisfying. I got to rain on someone. So that was my win of the week. Kids these days parking in my driveway.
Did you like have a half open bathrobe?
Call it
white t-shirt, boxer.
I actually was wearing pajamas this morning when I went and approached the person this morning. Yes, pajamas. But I mean, that's like, if I'm at home, I'm probably wearing pajamas. If I'm going anywhere like within 1 to 2 blocks, probably wearing pajamas. I'm a big pajama fan. I go to the store in pajamas all the time. It's great.
Yeah. All right. So what else have you been doing? What else have you been doing, Crandy?
Not that much. Well, I don't know. A little more variety this week. So as anyone who listened to the podcast last week knows, Warren came out for the weekend and we played music games a lot. So we finished off all the multiplayer in Rock Band Country Track Pack 2. We learned that rain is good, and because rain makes corn, corn makes whiskey, and whiskey makes my girl frisky. So that's what we learned. That's my new theme song, I guess. I think it's called Rain. Rain is a good thing. I think it's called, yeah. So we had a good laugh with that one, as always, with the country track packs. Finished up. Well, see, and I guess I'll go again. I didn't finish the Guitar Hero series because, man, Creeping Death. People swear that one is easy. That's the hardest one in any of them. Like, that is the hardest Guitar Hero achievement. It's Creeping Death. Stupid.
Yeah, what's 375 or whatever it is, the score you need on that one?
Yeah, you need 575, and the max possible score is 650. Yep. Or no, 625. It's 50K off of the max possible.
Yeah, so with the perfect path and getting a full combo, you can get 625. So yeah, there's not really a lot of room for error because you do one miss and you lose
at least 10K per miss.
Yep.
With a full combo. So yeah, I don't know what because there's no achievement that has such a strict cutoff in any of the other ones. It is, usually when it's that really high score, it's a tough song, but it's generally forgiving, or it's an easy song and you just full combo it. But it's like, it's a really tough song that's long and is like super unforgiving. So that one is, I don't know. We'll see. I'm still queuing up music games, so I'll go into my other ones. Guitar Hero Warriors of Rock, I've just got to do the multiplayer. I mean, that'll take me an hour tops. I just didn't do it because I didn't get Creeping Death. Van Halen's all queued up. Just need the tutorial. Warriors of Rock.
Be careful on that one. The tutorial on that's pretty notorious.
I borrowed. Well, it is kind of, because you need a Guitar Hero drum set and a slider guitar. So I did borrow Warren's Guitar Hero drum set, so I have that sitting in my living room for when that's ready.
So what achievement rule should Creeping Death be filed under for the commandments of achievements?
I don't know. Well, I don't even want to say it's that bad, because it's a super high skill based achievement, which I really like in the music games. It's just, it's to the point where it's too unforgiving.
There you go. No achievements that are too unforgiving.
But I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah,
it's like, it's kind of up there with like Perfect Dark. It's one of those things you can only play for a very small window of time per day until you get mad at it and you need to stop. So it's
I think there is a place in the world for those kind of achievements.
Yeah, I think so too.
I certainly wouldn't take that away. It's like I also wouldn't take away the Death Smiles achievement either. That's a super hard one, because that is super hard. The only thing that's kind of bad about those achievements is that for a lot of gamers, achievements like that will actually put them off. A lot of achievement hunted anyway. It will actually put people off playing the game at all, because they can't see themselves ever getting the completion. Well, which is
and that was kind of my thing when I was making, the notorious macros that I made for Rock Band was, you're talking a game that is 5+ years old on any of these kind of games, that the real competitive community has basically died. Like there's no one really playing them seriously anymore. So why not have macros for those few really, really stupid hard achievements so more people will play them? will play those games that they never experienced because they're completionist or whatever. Or, you finish them and you kind of take away that last little bit of, kind of scar on your tag that you can't finish because you started them ages ago. And I don't know. I mean, I know of a few people that's kind of been true. I don't know of anyone that started them specifically, but a lot of people that were able to finish them that are very hardcore completionists. So it's kind of nice, I guess. I don't know. People also really hate me for them. So
yeah,
whatever. Yeah, and then I queued up Lego Rock Band today too. So all I have to do is do a stud recovery, which is for like effectively failing a song and then recovering. So I like to leave these kind of funny, easy achievements for last. So I'm gonna have like once Creeping Death eventually gets done, I'll effectively have 6 tutorials and 6 completions.
I've got a challenge for you is to try and find a game which has a press start to play achievement and have that be the last achievement that you earn in the game.
I don't think you can. I would do it. If it were possible, I would like to try.
I think there are games out there which you can bypass to get the start to play achievement by starting it up as a co-op and doing everything as the co-op partner. So you effectively join the game after you've started, but you have another profile do the start. So yeah, there would be ways to do it. So
there's another thing you could get around too is you could maybe, I don't know, it depends. You might be able to get away with getting that achievement offline, deleting your profile.
So you'd have a save.
Get to a point in the game where you can, so you have a save and you can bypass it, delete your profile with that offline achievement, go online, finish everything, and then delete your save and prompt that press start achievement as the end, which is kind of, I mean, like that's allowed, like that's fine to do, but it's kind of, I don't know. I feel like that's kind of cheating that challenge because you're not finding a way within the limits of the game to bypass it.
You're manipulating your save system a bit. So that's probably not quite the way I'd envisage doing it. But I know there are games that you can sign in as the second account and bypass the achievement. So that might be the way to do it.
If you find me one, I'll take that challenge because I love doing that. So, and then I started another Assassin's Creed game that I'm probably never going to get to because my friend likes to do the multiplayer with me, and I told him I would do all of them. So Assassin's Creed Brotherhood is now on my tag.
All right. That's the multiplayer in that, I think the only...
we've got 2 of us with 6 copies, so we're estimating it's going to take us like 4 hours.
Yeah, that's all the stun boosting for the level 50 or whatever it was. Were there things related to certain challenges, or did that come later? It was,
there's a few miscellaneous things. Like I think we have to get all of the like something awards, but they're all easy. It's just like, I don't know, win a match. No, those are achieved. I don't know. It's not bad. It's like we're estimating 4 to 8 hours for the whole thing.
It was either that or Revelations had at least 1 or 2 where the challenges essentially required you to do a bunch of specific things within a single match.
Yes, Revelations has that. Brotherhood also does have that.
And when you're boosting it, you do have to run the tags around quite a bit because they'll tend to lock on to wandering crowds and not be where you want them to be. And so you got to grab a bunch of controllers quickly.
Yeah. It was a lot easier with real bodies.
Until you have to start stun boosting, and then you got to trade off, which that's kind of the things. We just don't want to have to deal with that. And then I sat down yesterday. I think I got like 1,600 TA in one sitting in Transformers. I just sat down and I was just like in the zone. Like I got home from work and that's pretty much all I played all night. And I finished everything, including multiplayer, except for I have to do one more playthrough of the Autobot campaign on hard. So yeah, I got platinum first try on almost every mission for like half of a campaign, which was awesome. So I just went with it, and then I did the all the platinums, finished those all off, and then moved on to the multiplayer. And then I also watched the RuneScape documentary while I was boosting, so that was kind of interesting. And this month Twitch Prime has a free month of RuneScape membership. So, I mean, of course I claimed it. I've got Amazon Prime. I linked it. And now I've been playing RuneScape again.
you certainly you didn't need something. You didn't need some humongous grind kind of time sink to take up your. You clearly didn't have enough to do. You don't
play RuneScape. I just play RuneScape. Yeah, so exactly. I've been playing it while I was working on Lego Rock Band. Now I've just been playing it a little bit. So I've gone back and played a little bit over the years. I mean, it's never... I just don't have the time to like fully commit to getting back into the game. So I just go on and I just make money. Just have a huge stack of money in RuneScape. And whenever I go back and play more, I just make more money because it's fun. I like it. It's like playing the stock market. I'm good at it.
Can you actually like make a room of money that you can dive into? Like, you know...
I mean, if you had a buddy, you could have that person trade you, like, I think the biggest stack of coins that appears, like where it looks visibly different on the ground, is 10,000. So, I mean, you could have a few people like drop stacks of 10,000 coins in a room. And it would look like it was a room full of money, but no, you can't.
You can't Scrooge McDuck it.
You can't swim in it. No, I don't think so. Unless they've added something. I mean, they should. They should have something that's like, you build it in your house, but it costs like the max stack of cash or something, and then you can have like a money swimming pool.
Money pool.
That'd be hilarious. Oh, that'd be amazing. They should do that. Somebody should suggest that.
You're going to start a petition.
Yeah. A money pool. I don't have that much money though. If I sold all of my stuff, I think I'd have half max cash. Yeah.
I better start grinding.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm working on it. I got to learn. I have to learn a little bit. The game's changed a lot since I started trading. So I'm a little rusty, but we'll get there. We'll get there.
Yeah. Smrnov, what have you been up to? Well, firstly, win of the week.
I hit 1675 completions this week, so 1675. Yeah,
it's a few. Yeah, it's
a few.
You know. But I mean, I really thought 2000 was going to be pretty far off when I hit the 1500, but the way they keep releasing Neo Geo games, that's 60 right off the bat. So.
Yeah. How are you finding those? Actually, I'm finding them actually kind of difficult to get through. Some of them, particularly.
Yeah, I find that there's a difficulty curve, and it's not a difficulty curve per se. It's learning what the game wants you to do, or what the cheapest way to do it, I guess, is. Okay, this is one where I just have to block and hang back. Oh, this is one where I have to be really aggressive, otherwise I'm never going to get there in time. I find, there's kind of that mentality in getting your mindset around that game, and the whole fact that they call the X button the A button and all that other stupidness.
Yep.
But no, I mean, I don't think I struggled too much with any one of them. I've definitely had choice words for a few of them along the way, but especially the AI and the fighting games. But no, I don't find. I mean, that was one of the things this week I did. I did, and that was
I think I found in Fatal Fury, I was playing that, and I just found that it seemed like the AI was just tuned to do exactly the exact right counter move to anything that I did. So I'd do a jumping attack and it would do exact perfect jumping attack to block my jumping attack as soon as I did it. Or I'd do something else and it didn't know exactly what to do. And it's just like, how am I supposed to get anywhere?
Mortal Kombat 2 was like that. It would read your inputs. So even if you weren't moving or like in the game, like if you were just kind of like prepping a move, it would know before you even like had one frame go in the game, and it would immediately counter you, which is really frustrating.
You're not really going to get through it until the AI turns brain dead for whatever reason during one of the rounds. Like you'll do it for an hour and just you haven't really changed anything, but just the AI stops countering and you suddenly beat them and you win. That's how I found those ones.
Yeah. How are you finding the frame rate on those? Because I find they just stutter.
they play fine, and
it's my
until
Xbox
I get an achievement, and then like, oh, okay, it's 3 rounds later, fine. Especially for the high score runs or the caravan ones where there's along the way achievements. It's really pretty frustrating too, because you're dealing with either a clock or one life or something along those lines. It's kind of annoying to suddenly chop, and either be dead or whatever the case may be.
Yeah. And then they're notorious for not even unlocking things. I think I've gone through Fatal Fury a few times now, and I've deleted saves from everywhere, and I just can't get some of the just playing through the regular game, getting some of those high score ones to pop. They just won't. So
if you had to get the register the high score at the same time as a high score, and then you might get one and not the other.
Yeah, be it frustrating. So yeah, actually on that, what's given you've played so many games, are there what games do you actually sit down to play for enjoyment? It seems like you cover off pretty much everything. Is there sort of a particular style of game that you prefer to play, or are there games that you really don't like playing?
Well, don't like playing. I'm not a fan of fighting games. I mean, hands down, it's one of my least favorite genres. And that's just because I suck at them. I mean, it's nothing wrong with the genres themselves for the people who are really good at them, but I'm not skilled enough to know, he's going to have a half second to, counter this move, so I better do this here or something like that. When it gets to that level of detail, I'm not good enough in some of the complexity in the controls. So I will flat out say that's something I'm not good at. But I mean, for me, for the games I like, it's definitely the MMO style game that I can sink my teeth into. I mean, as we're recording, I'm sitting here fishing in Neverwinter to try to get my 50 purple large fish for an achievement. I mean, I'm still tying it to achievements, but that's a game that, I do a lot of probably above and beyond type stuff. And that's what I did.
Now you're going to do all three versions of Neverwinter.
No, I'm not. I mean, I do plan on potentially getting a Chinese Xbox or something like that at some point. But when I started Neverwinter, I was playing with friends in town here. My wife and my daughter actually like to play it as well. They kind of moved on. But so it's just me. But those are the styles of games, even before Xbox, that, I would play. The original EverQuest.
Interesting. Yep. So what are your thoughts on Elite Dangerous? That's kind of got that MMO style.
I can only play so many of those at any one given time, so I haven't really dipped my toe in those waters. That's the problem with that type of game, right? If you're going to do it, it's hard to do more than one at the same time, especially when I'm trying to do everything else that I'm doing.
Take up a lot of time to get anywhere.
I mean, between already juggling the work, the family, and the gaming that I do, it's at least I can somewhat justify Neverwinter by saying, I'm getting a little bit closer to that achievement by doing this. Oh yeah, if I get my character just a slight bit better, maybe I can make it through that. But yeah, it's that's kind of the type of game I do.
Yeah,
role playing in general too.
Cool. So win of the week was 1675 games. That's all right. I just tangented it off there, so I thought it was interesting. What else?
I've knocked off a few quick games this week. Riptide GP, Akaneo. I did the motorcycle racers at Overtop. That Late Shift game, which I actually rather enjoyed. I mean, kind of flashbacks of the old FMV.
I've been
it's a great show. It's what it is. It's a show. So if you want to watch it good.
Yeah. Okay. So it's not like the old style FMV games that are like, goofy games on top of bad video. I know the video.
The video is actually.
I mean,
I don't find it jilted, or it seemed to flow fairly well as the show would go.
It's the same developer as that Bunker game as well. I think they did this.
Yes, or the same publisher at least. I'm not sure about developer, but the same publisher.
It did feel like it's in front of a green screen or anything like that too, which is nice, right? If there's no like spaceships in the background crashing through, or they're trying to react to it. Actually filmed inside lorries and things like that. So.
It's funny because like I kind of have this thing for FMV games, even though I never I'm too young to have really experienced FMV games when they're a thing. There's just something about them. Like they're so I want Sewer Shark. I haven't played it. I want Night Trap, which they're remaking Night Trap. It's coming out on Xbox.
Yeah, I was just going to say.
It's the original video, but it's like the full quality, like that they recorded it in, so it actually looks decent. Which is I love the graininess, but it's cool that they're doing that. I think I'm probably going to try they're doing a physical release on PS4. I think I'm going to try and get a copy of that because it's like in the Sega CD style box too. Like it's got like the blue lines, and like they've got a Sega CD one, a 32X one, and then like the like the original Sega CD box that was like the cardboard box one. So there's like three different ones. They'll probably sell a bundle that has all three of them. together and 3 copies of the game that I'll probably really want to get. So we'll see how much it is. But yeah, so that's kind of cool. But so, and I've like the last 3 weeks, I found 2 stores that had FMV games. Like I found 3DO games and I found Sega CD games, and I was super excited. So like I've been really wanting to collect, particularly for 3DO and CDI for a long time, but like those are super obscure systems. Like nowhere, I'd never seen a 3DO game until like 2 weeks ago. And then I bought one. So I was excited about that.
And so it begins.
And it had the long box and everything. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Are you much of a collector, Stephen? I know you tend to just cycle through your games.
I mean, I have
quickly.
A large collection. For me, being in Canada, we never really had the whole GameFly thing up here. So if I wanted to have a game and make sure I'd get a copy of the game, I kind of had to buy the game. I would pillage things like Blockbuster's going out of business and Rogers selling off their used rental copies, things like that as best I could. But more or less, almost every game on 360 that I have not completed, I own. But once I've finished a game, and I think the DLC is done, harder to do with the Xbox One, but on the 360 for sure, I tend to sell it off to people who actually collect and are looking to retain the copies.
Okay. Cool. How about the Xbox One? Are you sort of embracing the digital age?
The digital age for the most part. I mean, the prices tend to be better. I started out not doing so when they first were coming out.
That's true. In Canada, the prices are better, usually.
So, just from a financial standpoint. And also now I'm willing to, when I was doing challenges back in those days, when the first system came out, I would try to get a hard copy and keep the hard copy because so many time-limited things and things like that, just made it. Yeah, I'd want it quicker. But now I'm willing to wait till there's a sale and things like that on the digital too, which is they have some pretty good price cuts, whereas you're not going to quite see those on the physical. So.
Yeah, because Canada doesn't get the same like crazy 2 weeks later. It's like 50% off price cuts like they do here. Because and that's like Best Buy. Like you get 20% off new stuff for I think it's like $30 for 2 years. And then, if it's not like a super, super good selling AAA game, Mirror's Edge Catalyst, I think was $40 before the 20% off, 3 weeks after it came out.
Yeah, that dropped so quick.
Crazy. Then you get the blowout prices on Amazon and stuff. But yeah, Canada never gets those. It was pretty disappointing. I'd always have to, I do big order, when I lived in the U.S. or lived in Canada and my wife was in the U.S., I would go and just buy tons, half a suitcase full of games at a time because they were so cheap. And that was when the dollar was at par.
Yeah, that's worse now too.
It was good. To do. Yep. Now it's tough. Yeah.
I mean, my mom lives in Florida, so if I ever want a bulk of something or something that is really hard to get here, I'll have it shipped there and say, okay, next time you come up. I didn't even go get it. I have her bring it to me. So, but yeah, no, sorry. So as far as collections go, I mean, my 360 collection is 5 shelves, and my Xbox One collection is 3 half shelves. So, and yeah. But sorry, back to the things on the week.
Cool. Big. Yes.
Those were the games I completed. I don't know if I completed Rocket League in the last week or not. It probably was pretty close to a cutoff. So I found and completed Rocket League.
At least until the next DLC.
But those stupid certified items and the painted items were pretty much the things that took me the longest. I had to go into the online gene pool and try to survive. But
I got lucky and had someone give me those. I haven't leveled them up yet, but I got the items from someone.
Yeah, I actually had to use multiple tags because I hit the 10-hour limit. So yeah, it was not fun. And a little bit of cleanup. I went back to touch up on some games that I had started but hadn't gotten my mini achievements in. So I went to Oddworld. Finished off the hard save everybody playthrough and have to just do some mop up there. And Toy Soldiers Cold War actually on my Windows 10 device. I had started it, made sure the DLC worked a while ago, and I never really went back to finish it up, so I'm mopping that one up. So,
and does the DLC work on Windows 10? Or did you have to do it on an 8.0?
It's on my Surface.
Oh, nice.
Right away. And you can use a mouse. You don't actually have to use the Touch Edition. So,
yeah. I know that one actually plays okay with a mouse.
So, other than a various smattering of other Windows daily phone games and other things that I do, but those are kind of the main touch points. Mainly, what I'm trying to do is get my completion percentage up, and I've almost would have been a win of the week if I could have got it under 100 achievements to get to the next level of to 78%.
So 78.
How many achievements do you need for 1%?
It's close to 800 when it rolls over. Yeah. Ooh. So I have to. But remember when challenges came out, and I was starting every Xbox One game to get the notifications from the leaderboards on TA. So now I have a nice backlog of Xbox One games I can go to.
Yeah, it is nice to go back to those games that only have 1 or 2 achievements when you're trying to beef up your percentage, because then it's just so quick.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm working on right now. I try to get my score in for the month. I try to keep up on some quicker completions just so that I don't have this huge backlog of them. But outside of that, it's all about me just trying to finish off and get rid of games that I've already started.
I suppose you're always ticking over the Gamerscore in general. Got to try and keep Stallion honest.
I'm trying to hit my own milestones, right? I think we talked about it last time. But I'd like to keep around 20,000 a month if I can. So,
yeah.
Which is a lot. That's a lot of points.
That's what it's 20,000 a month. That's what 240 a year. Practically.
I just hit 250K total. No, I got that this week, I think. Yeah,
you didn't say that as a milestone?
I'm more interested in the TA score than the gamer score. So
honestly, I'm more interested in the completion than the gamer score too. My gamer score is a byproduct.
Yeah, me too. Above all, it's yeah. So I guess, you've got a pretty decent ratio too, because I was going to say I like to keep above 2, but I've got lots of space for easy stuff still.
All right, well, I'll move on to mine. My win of the week was actually, I think I mentioned it a few episodes ago, and it's been discussed on the on our Discord forum, on our Discord chat area, that my achievement tracking has been basically either very flaky or non-working for quite a while, to the point where I'd actually gone and bought a new, assuming it was something to do with my Xbox, because I'd tried everything else, I actually went and bought a brand new Xbox. Plugged it in, exactly the same problem. And I was just tearing my hair out with this problem. It was interesting to note as well, I hadn't kind of tweaked to it, but the achievement tracking in the solitaire games on iOS was also kind of flaky. It sometimes worked, sometimes couldn't, sometimes didn't. I couldn't work out exactly what was causing that. It turns out, so this will be more for the technical people, but Google have a public DNS server, which is basically the way you look up names on the internet. And somewhere along the line, I'd set for my home network, I'd set Google's DNS as the primary DNS for my entire network, which meant that basically I was going off to Google to get that information rather than my local internet provider. And that turned out to be the cause of all of my achievement tracking problems. So, just a word of warning, don't use Google DNS, or if you're having problems with your achievement tracking, Google DNS might be your issue. So for whatever reason, as soon as I set it back to my ISP local one, achievement tracking has been flawless across everything. So I've got a spare Xbox One if anybody wants to buy one.
It's for
all the
boxing.
Aussie releases, right? Aussie only.
Oh, one of them?
It's totally exclusive. You can only play it on an Australian Xbox One. Honest.
What region? What are you talking about?
It's like China. It's a whole
other region. Yeah.
They're not connected to any other continents. They're just there. They're just floating.
You can register it without a
They got their own Xboxes.
Right on the controller.
Yep, that's right.
You have to survive. You have to have proof that you've made it to the gauntlet. It's all activated and ready to go.
So, I was kind of happy to get my achievement tracking back, even though it's a bit frustrating having another console. I've just got to chuck that on eBay later today, I think.
Now, what do you think of the Slim, though?
The Slim is very nice, but given that I've kind of committed to getting a Scorpio later in the year, I don't really need this, and it'll be worth the most given that it's basically brand new in box. So I just want to recover as much of the money I spend on it.
So nice.
Yeah, they are, but
I love it. It's got the physical buttons. Yeah. Oh, fantastic.
My dog ear turned off.
You on the Scorpio train?
A couple Scorpios, but
yeah. Couple.
Well, one for 4K screens. I mean, that's the main thing, right? I know, yes, it'll make 1080p games look better too, but I'm only doing it on my 4K screens right now. So one in a kind of a main larger area, and then one I play on mainly at my desk. Yeah, I am playing on Scorpio for sure.
Yep. Cool.
Not me. No Scorpio for me. Not right away, anyway. I mean, until they go back on their quote policy, and there's a Scorpio exclusive game. I don't know. That's why I bought a Slim. I didn't care. Well, and then the thing that annoyed me though was, initially when that Scorpio announcement, it was like, oh yeah, if you don't have a 4K TV, it doesn't matter. You don't need it. And then now they're like, oh, well, it's good for everything. You don't need a 4K TV for a Scorpio.
Well, yeah.
Whatever.
It will be higher, supposedly higher textures for the 1080p games, right? So.
Yeah, well, and I mean, now that they're actually confirming that, but it was like, I think even Phil Spencer explicitly said initially when they were talking about the Scorpio that if you don't have a 4K TV, you don't bother getting one. Like it's not going to do anything for you. And then now they're saying, months later.
I'm pretty sure he said you don't need it. But it's months later they would have known at that time that the overall changes that they've done to the box will improve pretty much any game that you put into it, regardless of whether or not it's been optimized for Scorpio, just because of the underlying nature of the way they've done the upgrades. But yeah, I think what he said might have been taken a little bit out of context there. Because he basically said you'll get the best out of it if you've got a 4K screen. But yeah, it will obviously give you a lot of performance enhancements regardless.
Yeah, I mean, either way, I wouldn't have gotten one just because. I don't need it. I'm not going to get a 4K screen. I barely play any games that even take slight advantage of the Xbox One's graphics currently. So I just...
Yeah, but you might be able to play those SEA Neo Geo games without them stuttering.
I doubt it.
It's true. I don't think so.
Not, but
yeah, so... And that's why I got the Slim when I did, is I wanted the Rain Cloud Gray because I felt obligated to buy one, because it's basically a custom console for me. Like, come on, it's called Storm Gray.
It's the Crandy.
And it is like overcast gray. It's amazing. Best console ever. I'm not even using the controller. I just put it straight into a box. It's fantastic.
Fun. I might actually get one of those ones, Randy, just because Storm Cloud one. Just because Shoppers Drug Mart in town has one for you can get with optimum points. So there you go.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So you get a freebie. And I mean, if you don't have a Slim already,
I had a regular one, and like seriously, one of them was on a TV tray kind of thing on one of my TVs, and my dog would like poke it, and there it goes, turned off.
Oh yeah, no, like seriously, and they're so well. The one is a lot better than the original Slim Xboxes, and it's like those ones, like man, everything, dogs especially, like. Anything, you just walk by, ping, there goes the disc tray, there goes the Xbox.
Controller cable. If your controller, if you use a wired controller and you actually drag it across the front of it. Oh, hey, I turned it off and ejected the disc.
Yeah, ping. yeah. Or like, if you have to like adjust it a little bit to like wiggle a cable on the back or like plug something in. Oh, turned it off and ejected the disc again. Just like, like who made that and was like, yeah, this is great. This is fantastic. It's like clearly they never actually used this in like a real setup anywhere. And then they went back on the E's, which is my favorite 360 model, all physical buttons again. But the one was all touch buttons again. And then now they're back to the physical buttons. So I don't know. I hope they stick with the physical buttons. Put it that way.
The dev kit, the Scorpio dev kit that we've seen has definitely got physical buttons on it.
Yes.
So
well, it's just a slim with more buttons.
Whether that's anything, whether that corresponds to the final design, I guess we'll find out. But
I assume it's going to look a lot like the Slim does now, just because it seems like that's pretty much universally considered a really good design. Like the no power brick. It's small. It's a good size. It's got nice port access, good buttons. Stands up both ways. Stands up or lays down.
Yeah.
That's a nice one. Yeah, it fits. See, I could actually fit, because it stands up, I can fit I could fit all of my Xboxes and my new Slim on the same bookshelf. I did run out of ports in my Ethernet switch, though. So one of them has to be wireless. But I think I'll live.
Yeah. First world problems.
The problems of having 9 Xboxes. I mean, like, come on, guys. They should have thought of this better. Like, why can't I daisy chain Ethernet in between 8 consoles?
Yeah, why doesn't each one come with a 4-port hub? I mean, really?
Yeah, I mean, really. Like, what are they thinking?
Not everybody has a 16-port gigabit switch in their main gaming area.
I almost bought like a 24-port switch at a thrift store. It was like, one of those like commercial ones, and it was like $20. I was like, oh man, I could plug a lot of Xboxes into that. But then I was like, no, it's too big. Like, I can't like mount it anywhere, and like it's not gonna just hang. Like, cause I've just got like two of the little 5-port ones just chained to each other, and they can just hang. Like they're so light that it doesn't matter. But yeah, that one's like metal, and you got to like mount it on a thing. It's like, no,
it's
too big.
So
but I was very close to buying it.
We need the rack mount Xbox Ones and rack mount Xbox 360s, so you can just put them in,
so I can rack mount my Switch for all of my
rack mounted
Xbox. But yeah, it was like $20. I was like, man, like my 5-port switches were more than $20. It's like a 20. Or 24, so I don't know, or I don't know what those ones are, but you know the ones I'm talking about.
That's I've got in my office.
The ones that you would rack mount.
I could rack mount it if I wanted
to. Yeah. One of those guys.
All right, we're getting back to what I was playing. I completed just points last week for GTA SC, which I think I'm the only remaining member of the podcast in GTA SC at the moment. I think maybe everyone's gone. You're all gone. Yep. You're all leaving me. Albedo. What's the rest of that name? The rest of that game's name? Albedo Eyes from Outer Space or something like that. It's an interesting kind of game. It's sort of the way that game's structured is it's kind of like you enter a room and you have to try and get out of it, and you go through a sequence of rooms like that with some sort of occasional sort of fighting segments in it. It's all first-person perspective. I can't say I really thought much of the game.
You didn't love the targeting?
Ultimately.
It was an awesome game to try to target something.
Yeah. Yeah, the controls were pretty fiddly as well. It was like basically to do any kind of action required about 3 button presses.
And you had to highlight it just right, too.
Okay,
right?
Open your inventory. Yeah, open your inventory, take it into your hand, then select use this with, and then select the thing that you're going to use it with, and it's like 4 steps to do something that should have been like much simpler. So yeah, and that was it also falls into the category of one of those games where you can get all of the achievements without actually completing the game. So I got the last achievement in that and deleted it. I didn't bother going through the end of it. I was done with it. Energy Cycle actually was also there on my list. That's that notoriously quick completion.
Oh, that's an easy one.
Yeah. We basically had that. We were going for a bonus, and we needed to hit a particular Gamerscore. I think it was the one where basically our entire Gamerscore total had to add up to a flat 1,000 or a flat divisible by 1,000. We were right on the line. Like we'd hit like 8,000 Gamerscore for the week, but we were getting pretty close to elimination. So we basically had Energy Cycle basically primed there so that we could all basically just jump in and put a heap of points on to get to the next milestone quickly. So, but what actually happened there, this was pretty funny. One of our team had basically just loaded it up here. He'd already played some of it, and he'd gotten through to like level 21 or whatever it is to get that achievement. He was ready to pop that one. But his level 18 one hadn't popped for some reason, like previously. So when he loaded the game, it literally unlocked the 18, the level 18 100 pointer, and it's just like, wait, we've got 10 minutes to go, and we've just put 100 points on. We now need 900 points within the space of like 8 minutes. And so we were all rushing to try and get it. We ended up not getting that bonus, but it was just funny. Just one of those situations. He basically pulled a frame. So booting up the game, got the achievement, and just, ruined our bonus for that week.
That happened to. I was trying to remember what game it was. I think it was Prominence Poker.
Yeah,
he got
daily
the bonus, and it
daily
just
bonus
ticked over.
That was a bit disappointing, but that can't be helped. I think I was getting a bit close on the individual last week as well, so I just ended up popping a couple more in Energy Cycle because they were nice and easy right at the end. Been playing a little bit of Mass Effect Andromeda. I've found a bit of a frustration in this game. There is sort of a pseudo multiplayer esque kind of component. So in the multiplayer component of Mass Effect Andromeda, you go on these things called Apex missions, and they're sort of like you have to survive a certain number of waves or do a certain thing, guard a particular area or things like that. So that's all fine. Multiplayer's fine, but there are kind of you can amass in the game. You can recruit these Apex teams for you to go off and do some of these missions on your behalf, and so you like send them off and they'll be away for a couple of hours and then come back. And there is an app which allows you to do this without actually playing the game. Like you don't have to have the game loaded up on the console. You can just sign in on your profile and you can get access to your strike teams and send them off. And you keep doing this in your crews, like bonuses and things like that for your single player game. Now, there's a couple of achievements tied to that. One is for recruiting 6 teams, and another one is for getting one of your strike teams up to level 20. What they don't tell you is that if you do all of that solely within the app outside of the game, there's a very good chance you'll lock yourself out of getting those achievements within the actual main game itself. So I'd actually clocked up level 20 on one of my dudes, one of my teams, and I'd just unlocked the level, like the 6th team that you need, expecting that I would then just boot up the game and I'd either go to a section or something like that and it should trigger the achievement. Nope. So I went and looked at some of the guides, and they said, yeah, you need to do this within the game, otherwise it doesn't work. And there was some suggestions on how to get around it. I've still not been able to get them to work. I've actually deleted my 6th team and then recruited another one. That didn't pop it. I've since gotten another team from up to level 20. That didn't pop it. I've tried all the suggestions, so I'm at a bit of a loss because I've now got a couple of achievements that seem to be basically bugged on me.
Now, maybe we should add this to our 10 commandments. Achievements should do a periodic check, not a one-time check. Because when achievements do a periodic check, that stuff doesn't happen.
Yeah. Well, actually, I think that's one thing I can say Destiny did right, was that if for some reason the achievement didn't pop, you sign out of your profile and sign back in again, it would actually do a full scan of all of the achievements that you were due, and you would get them all in a burst. Something's gone wrong there, and more games should do that sort of, a check over everything that you've got, just to make sure that it's all up to date with the achievements. But yeah, so I don't know what I'm going to do about Mass Effect. I'm hoping that they fix it, because I can't imagine I'm the only one that's had this particular problem happen to them. I think at least one of the achievements,
especially with a game that big, it seems like something that
one of the achievements has an alternate way to unlock it, so that one's all right. But I think the recruiting 6 teams one has no alternative. So yeah, I'm not really sure what I'm going to do about that. I'm not sure if I can wipe my profile and start again, which I don't really want to do. But yeah, we'll see. So that was a bit annoying. I've been sort of gradually playing through just little bits and bobs of Mass Effect Andromeda. I can't say it's actually really grabbed me as much as previous Mass Effects have, and I'm not sure if that's just a changing style of game that I'm interested in, or whether it just seems like there's too many side missions and too many things to do, and I just kind of find I get like overwhelmed with the amount of things that I can do, so I just do like one little thing and then put it down again. So yeah, I'm not too sure how I feel about Mass Effect Andromeda at the moment. Elite Dangerous was worth a mention. They released an update a little while ago, the Guardians update? No, the Commanders update. And so I've actually been getting pretty heavily back into the game and actually going back and unlocking a bunch of those achievements that I hadn't unlocked previously that are all still stupidly high ratio. So most of my points in the last 2 weeks for GTA SC have actually come from 10 and 20 pointer achievements from Elite, which are worth, 300 or 400 points each. So it's been very, very good for the points. But yeah, I've just been, there's a particular location at the moment where you can basically grind your Explorer and Empire rank and also earn a lot of money very, very quickly. There's a base in a system called Quincy, or Quince. Basically you just rack up these particular types of passenger missions, fly for about 30 seconds to one spot and then fly back again, and you earn heaps towards lots of things. So I've been grinding that for a while and getting my rank up on various things, which has been kind of cool. But yeah, I'm still a long way off completing that game. Although, might add just on the tutorial mission completions, they actually have nerfed the tutorial missions in Elite Dangerous significantly. That used to be one of the hardest achievements in the game. Now it's one of the it's actually pretty straightforward. The only difficult one's probably this combat mission you've got to do. So yeah, if you were turned off Elite Dangerous because of that particularly difficult tutorial achievement, there's no need to be. You can just get turned off by the triple Elite one instead now. And yeah, it's coming towards the end of the month, which means the random to-do list is wrapping up. So I kind of scrambled. I've actually only gotten like one or two so far. So I scrambled and just got another one in a sort of a game that's kind of like Elite Dangerous Light called Darkstar 1. So I basically just had to trade something in that game, so it's very early in the game. So you get another one off my random to-do list, but I think I'm not really going to be scoring very well on all the things this month for our regular challenges. So that pretty much wraps up what I've been doing. All right, so let's move into some feedback. We'll firstly start off with Freem, who posted something in there for us earlier this week. Crandy, do you want to do the honors?
Yeah, so Freem asks, what would be the worst video game world to live in? I mean, Jacinto would be terrible these days, and I wouldn't care to live in New York during the Division. But playing Diablo 3 has got me to think Tristram? Maybe?
Just presume that's the world from Diablo 3?
Yeah, I guess so. And the surrounding area...
It's a village, right? Yeah.
I played Diablo 2 a little bit, but I don't know. I never got into those ones. And the surrounding areas would be awful. Constant demon incursions doing unspeakable things to humans? Yeah, no thanks. So what do you guys think? What's the worst? I don't know.
I think the Mushroom Kingdom. I mean, you have to worry about some big turtle coming in all the time, knocking your stuff around and taking your people, take your woman,
hiding her in another castle.
Yeah, just being a Goomba in the Mushroom Kingdom world.
Especially that first one in the original Super Mario. You just always, every time.
Yeah, I'm just
always
doing
walking
my thing.
all over you.
Why? I was trying to think of things like Dragon Ball Z. That world can't actually be that much fun, but I guess that's a thing. Dark Souls, is that really a world?
That's a good one. Yeah,
that's not a nice place.
No, that is not a nice place. Yeah,
I guess you wouldn't be too happy in Silent Hill.
Silent Hill. But that's all your own demons. If your mind is clear, you're fine. But
come on, spoilers. Jeez, I mean, what? That game is only like 20-something years old. Come on.
I can't think of much more.
I don't know. I mean, I'm sure there are really obvious ones that we would think of. I mean,
Raccoon City.
Yeah, Crackdown City's probably not that fun a place.
I mean,
no, sorry, Raccoon City. I was saying Raccoon.
I mean, I guess you could just go like to hell. I mean, there have been games in hell. I mean, like I was just going to say Dante's Inferno. I mean, that's not a nice place.
Sure, just bring back that one achievement I still think. Thanks for reminding me of that.
Oh, it's so bad. It's
Ooh,
like, man,
I've got a good one.
That's like the base 1000. That game was great. This is the great list, fun game. Yeah. Just, it's not super hard. It's not and then they like tried to make it all in depth, and the game isn't made to handle that kind of depth. So it doesn't work, and it's buggy, and it's the worst.
And you need somebody else who can play at least at or above your own level. Yeah.
Like be willing to suffer glitches and falling through the ground and stupid deaths and cheating and it was terrible. It's so good to get it done though. Like when you get it, it's good.
Yeah, I still have to.
Ratio is not satisfying, but completing it is.
Goat Simulator. Living in that world would not be a fun place.
Breaking your neck all the time.
But what if you were a glitchy goat? I mean, maybe it's a good world for a glitchy goat.
Yeah, just being the non-protagonist in that game would not be great, though. Why?
This guy keeps licking me.
All right,
booting me and knocking me over with a thing. Anyway,
so we'll move on. We got a question from Beer Me. Have any of you guys watched Bill Nye the Science Guy's new show on Netflix titled Bill Nye Saves the World, especially episode 7, Cheat Codes for Reality, where they discuss some of the social aspects of gamers? What is your take?
I don't know the show. Do you guys know it?
I haven't seen
I've kind of heard some rumblings about it, but I haven't watched it.
So that'd be a no.
So,
all right, moving on. No.
Not yet. So anyway, yes, what's your take on gaming? Do you think that gaming makes people more or less social in their lives outside of gaming?
I don't think it makes people more or less social. I think they're probably usually just as social as they were without gaming. I can speak from my own experience here. I'm a pretty antisocial person regardless, so gaming hasn't changed that whatsoever. Or if anything, it's actually made me a little bit more social.
More willing to join groups that you might not have been.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't think it really has much of an impact either way. I think personality is more a definer of that particular thing.
For me, it actually had a lot of impact. I mean, I guess it depends on like how deep you want to go with it, but like, I don't know. I mean, I spent a lot of time, as I've mentioned many times, playing RuneScape. And a huge part of that was because it was at the time that I played it, especially, like it was super social, like more social than probably any game I've ever played. And it led me, I don't know, I feel like it made me a lot better at being social because I'm awkward and antisocial. I mean, I had, friends that I'd hang out with and stuff, and it led to other things that were related to gaming that made me, again, more social and better at being social. So I don't know. I feel like I owe a lot of that to playing games with other people.
Yeah, and I can see that. I can certainly see games would potentially give you an avenue for being more social, but I don't think it would be true to say that playing games generally will make people more or less social. It may in individual cases make them more social because they find a social avenue within that, and that's the same with any activity. You're going to potentially find a social avenue in playing chess or or watching movies.
Restoring old cars.
There will be potential social aspects of it, but it's not true to say that games will make people more social or less social.
The only thing that I think is different with gaming is I feel like it's a lot more approachable because you don't have to go anywhere to be social. You just like if you're playing RuneScape, you have to be social. Like period. You're not going to get anywhere in that game without being social. And it's just like, I don't know. It's more approachable than say like going, because if you play chess with someone, you have to have someone to play chess with or go to somewhere where people are playing chess. Which I feel like that has a much higher barrier to entry than like playing with someone online. You just jump in and there's people there and someone will probably talk to you. Or, you just start, you overhear something and you want to jump in. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I think for me, it's, well, and even now, moving across the country or moving to the US and then moving across the US, I mean, I would have zero social life here. The only people that I have met in person here and like hung out with in person since I moved to the East Coast are people I know from gaming and from the internet. So, I mean, that now, like, and that's kind of a different aspect that is like 100% of my like in-person social life at this point. I mean, I guess
don't know kind of a good thing or a bad thing.
No, but I mean, it's better than nothing.
Didn't you just start a new job?
Yeah, okay. I mean, that's pretty new. But I mean, a lot of the stuff at my job, I mean, I just kind of sit at my desk by myself and work on stuff. So there's not a lot. And like people in my office like actually work all day. Which
what? No.
Yeah, I know.
But there's usually some degree of social interaction.
I mean, a little bit, but it's
after hours.
I mean, at least right now, it's not extensive. So yeah, I mean, there's something. It's better than sitting at home all day, for sure. But it's minimal at work.
Unless sitting at home is your job.
I see. I really want one of those jobs. I actually really do. Because, man, I could, like, being able to be in my pajamas all day. This all goes back to pajamas. I love pajamas.
Yeah, they have casual Fridays. I have get dressed Fridays.
Yeah, exactly.
I think a company, a colleague was talking about this. They have battle suit Mondays because basically they'd always wear T-shirts and jeans most of the week, but then they'd go in and wear a suit on a Monday. just
because. I can do that. I can get behind that. Yeah, I got suit every day at my new work. So, but yeah, no, I would love the remote job because then it's like it's just like you don't have to commute, you don't have to drive anywhere, just get up, pajamas, you get your space, you can do whatever you want with it. Yeah, I would like that.
Set up, four-way monitors and
That's
one for work and 3 Xboxes.
They don't know. Get your work done. Doesn't matter. So yeah, I mean that's kind of my aspect. What do you think, Stephen?
I mean, yeah, I think you are what you are. It may give you a way of widening the circle you didn't have. I guess on the same token, though, I met my wife gaming, so
yeah,
there's a social aspect that ties into too, right? I mean, there are definitely relationships forged and bonds made, whether they're friendship or otherwise.
So does that if people met online in gaming are fake friends, does that mean your wife is a fake wife?
Yeah, that's right.
I kind of met my wife indirectly through gaming. I mean, we didn't play a game together, but the place we met online, I got to from playing RuneScape. So, it's fun, and it's interesting too. And it's not just. I guess I'm kind of like broadening it to just like the internet is, because I wrote a paper on it too in one of my classes, and it's just interesting. Like you can make some very good. I mean, like look at like what we're doing now. Like you can make some really great friendships and connections with people that you've never met. Like, I mean, this whole podcast. I mean, I guess I met Prue, but other than that,
nobody's ever met me.
No, they're too far away.
Yeah,
you got to come visit us.
Except for Alex. But, it's
yeah. Well, but yeah, and we look at that. So we all met each other through this. We do this podcast every week, and most of us have never met each other. So it's interesting.
That's the internet for you.
I have people I've boosted hundreds of hours of games with in party chat. And
I've got that. Sure. Yeah,
and like I have people that I consider very close friends that I've never met, and that I like. It's again going back to RuneScape. Like I've reconnected with people on RuneScape that I've known for like 10 years, and we played RuneScape together, whatever. And then I don't even know. Like I found a couple of people that I hadn't talked to in like 4 or 5 years, and like we just chatted, and it was like, oh yeah, we're like best buds. Like it's cool. So. Yeah. Anyway,
so
little tangent.
How many? Just on the side, how many friends do you like that? Do you count where you don't actually know their real name?
I don't think
real names usually.
Usually, I know real name. Usually, do I know any? I don't think so. I think I know everyone's real name.
Okay, just curious.
Well, I don't know about last name.
So many people buy games for me. I know their addresses.
I don't know. Now, real name, is that just first name or first and last?
Just first
okay.
name.
Yeah, first name. First name, I think everybody. But anyway, we'll move on. And finally, they had a segment showcasing the use of video games to help train.
This is
Beer Me's question.
Yep.
This is the third part. They had a segment that's showcasing the use of video games to help train surgeons, and specifically a game that's designed to train the surgeon's motor skills with an actual game, not just a simulation of surgery, which I thought was very interesting and genius. So my question is, what other things do you guys think gaming could be utilized to help train or use as a problem solving technique to help society as a whole?
That's a pretty big question there, but it is interesting. I had seen some documentaries in the last couple of years talking about neuroplasticity and how gaming is actually a big part, or games targeted towards specific things will help with neuroplasticity. And essentially, neuroplasticity is, of course, the changing of the brain, essentially, or training parts of the brain. And I think the ones that sort of stood out that they were using were things like peripheral vision. So games that are set to train your peripheral vision by showing you a number of things around the area of your peripheral, and you've got to try and get the answer right when it questions you about it. If you actually work on that, you will get better at it. And the thing that happens with people over time is that their peripheral vision is usually really good when they're young, and then it gets worse and worse over time. But that's a reversible thing, because all you need to do is practice it. We get so focused on what we're looking at right in front of us. So that's certainly one part of the way you can use a game-like interface, or certainly a game-like tool to basically make the brain better. So there's certainly a lot of avenues there for specific simulations or particular games to target particular types of training, particularly reaction time and peripheral vision, and quickly distinguishing between certain things. They can all be trained up with that stuff. So it's a really interesting field. And certainly even with mental health, when we had Dr. Jennifer Hazel on, I believe she talked about some of the tools that are used there just to kind of reinforce better mental health, or better thought patterns and things like that, or breathing. Those sort of things can certainly be done as a game-like format, just to kind of make it make people achieve or feel like they're achieving something whilst they're also at the same time adjusting their brain. So it's really an interesting field, and I think it hasn't really been fully tapped yet. There's a lot they can do there. Do you guys have thoughts?
I mean, it was kind of more of a simulation, but I mean, it really helped when I was first learning to drive. They had it was very game-like. It was basically just drive from point A to point B, but a full driving simulator that was really great for, not being on the road, potentially running people over. And that did wonders, because I still am a very nervous driver. I hate driving. So
it's that part where the kid runs it out from a car.
I think they did have that. I don't know. It's been a while, but I think they did have that.
I've
and it's just but it's good, because, it's like, okay, well, I didn't hit that kid. Or, if I did hit that kid, it's no big deal, because it's a simulation. It's not a real kid. So
but I guess it's those sort of things.
Can we do that again? Rewind that.
I want to try again. See if I can get it down to 3 out of 5 kids not killed.
I would have really liked to because, it was just, there were a bunch of people in the class, and it was just get from point A to point B or whatever. So it would have actually been a lot of fun to just be able to kind of go wild on that too. Because it would have been like driving a car, but you can go wild in this simulation and be like, whoa, okay, I shouldn't ever do that for real in my real car. because this is what happened.
That's what Grand Theft Auto is for.
Well, it would have been even more fun if like Grand Theft Auto was like that realistic, on a giant like awesome 3-monitor setup with like full pedals and steering wheel. Yeah, they had a great setup. It was fun. Anyway.
Yeah. Stephen, I think you had something.
Yeah, I did. And mine's kind of more abstract, but the one thing I could think of that was close to it was Project Spark. But it would be nice if there's a way to, in a gaming method, kind of get people making connections around either programming or data links. So something that's kind of like, big picture kids maybe are afraid of or don't understand how to do, but hey, if I do this 5 times in this level, this is what happens, and kind of say, hey, guess what you ended up doing? You ended up writing some sort of code that did something. In a gaming type way, would I think help with.
Yeah, there are games like that. I had a game on the iPad which was essentially you're an office worker, and to progress through the years of each office, you essentially have to take the building blocks of a very rudimentary programming language that they've got within the game and structure a loop or something like that to do a particular function. And so it gets very difficult later on, but that was a really kind of a cool approach to introducing just basic fundamentals of programming, in a game-like form. So I'll see if I can dig out the name of the game if you're interested.
I think things like that could really go a long way too, because that's for a long time I've kind of wanted to learn a little bit of programming because I think it's interesting and it's kind of fun, but it's really daunting having no background knowledge and then just diving into it and having something really approachable. Unless, you go to school for it, and then obviously it's structured like that, but just something kind of as a, do a little bit here and there. It's tough to approach that and know which language to start using and all that kind of stuff, which was actually kind of nice working on Big Rigs when we decided to, because Game Maker, the way it works is there are kind of visual blocks that you can string together like code, but you don't actually have to write any code. You just string them together, you know how they work, and you can do most of the stuff that Game Maker can do with that in a kind of a crude way. But we decided, after we kind of had the core idea of what we wanted the game to do, to scrap all that and rewrite it all in Game Maker code, which was great because it was really easy for Jack, but I tried to do some of it myself too, because then I could learn some. And it was nice because it was just, even though this isn't really a real language that you can take outside of Game Maker, it kind of gives you that basic idea of, okay, this is how you put things together. This is how this fits in. If you do this, it breaks everything. Just those kind of general concepts that you need to know when you're approaching that kind of stuff. And it was good. It took me a long time, but it was good to kind of learn a little bit of that.
Yeah, and the fundamentals apply to pretty much any language. Once you've kind of picked up one, you can generally take a lot of those concepts across to others, unless you're doing like moving into a fully functional programming language, which still does my head in. But the game I was referring to earlier was called Human Resource Machine. So that's a good one just for learning some rudimentary stuff about programming and the low-level stuff that goes on to create like filtering and functions like that. So, yeah, it's a good. Yeah,
it's learning the concepts in a way that's fun, right? That's kind of what I think. Yeah, because I think I program in all sorts of different languages, all sorts of different databases, and it's all the same thing. It's just learning how to speak to that type of thing that you're doing, right? Once you know, okay, I need to do this type of thing, right? How do I say that in this world?
Yep. And then the trick of it is in learning how to do that most efficiently. So
yeah.
I think that was like the way you put it, in doing it in a way that's fun, is that was exactly what kept me going and working on that project. Is because I could see immediately. It was really crude. It still is really crude. That's also kind of the point, but I could see immediately that working or not working, and it was fun when it was really fun and satisfying when I could get something like a character select to work, and like, which is if you know what you're doing, it'd probably take you 5 minutes. But, it took me 5 hours, but I learned something from it, and it was fun. So, yeah, that's really the thing that I think will keep you going back. So, thanks, Beer Me, for that question.
Yep.
The questions. Yeah. Kept us going for a while. Next up.
So we've got another doozy from Philip Wendell, actually.
We had to put some thought into this one. So Philip Wendell says, "Hey guys, I find that my favorite part of the podcast is when you talk about what you've been playing, achievements you've earned, and what you're going to play in the following week. It'd be great to hear from you guys tell a memorable story that you haven't before, because we know I retell my stories because I forget that I told them over and over again, about how you got a tough achievement.
Tell us about that time you got that grower achievement.
That was either difficult, a long grind, weren't expecting, or was otherwise funny. While other gamer podcasts talk about news, etc., you and the TA podcast are unique in your focus on achievements. So let's hear about them." And he says, "Thanks for the quality podcast. He always enjoys listening each week."
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you, because we always enjoy making it, I think, pretty much all the time. So I had to think about this one quite a bit because I've told most of my stories, but I did come up with one that I haven't told yet, I don't think.
And it reminded me of one, so yeah, we've got a related one.
Yeah, both of ours are in Rock Band 2, and they both have to do with the Endless Set List and the Bladder of Steel achievement. So for those of you that aren't aware, the Endless Set List in Rock Band 2 takes somewhere between 8 and 9 hours, if I remember correctly, of non-stop. Yep. There is no breaks at all.
Yeah, well, the actual achievement, the Endless Bladder one, actually requires you not to pause through the entire thing. You can pause, but it will invalidate that particular achievement. So to get the Endless Bladder, you do have to have an Endless Bladder. Yeah. Yes. Except in my case, but we'll get to that.
We'll get to that. So mine, I probably started around 10 a.m. or something, and I was doing it on guitar. And guitar probably has even fewer breaks than any of the other achievements. There's basically no point in the entire set list, except for one, where you have any break more than a few seconds. Now, there is one song, Let There Be Rock by AC/DC, where guitar has about a 40-second pause. And I consumed an entire lunch in that 40-second pause. I don't remember what it was, but I remember working on this. And, this is obviously something I set an entire day aside for and was ready to go. And my mom brought me lunch of some kind. I don't remember. It was probably a sandwich or something like that. It was something that you could eat fairly quickly, but wasn't like, a bar or something. It was like something prepared. So in that 40-second pause, I consumed this entire meal of whatever it was and continued along my set list. And succeeded. The first try, fortunately. I do kind of have another one related to the Endless Set List. So after, I played Rock Band 2 a lot, and long after I got all the achievements in it. In one summer, I had one of my friends from out of town. He was kind of staying at kind of people's houses for most of the summer. Just kind of, he'd stay at my place for a few days, go to one of our other mutual friends for a few days or whatever. So he was staying with me at the time. And I think and then another one of our friends was over too. And we were thinking at this point, it was probably 2 a.m. or something. And, we're thinking let's do the Endless Set List. I wanted to get platinum on drums. I think we got half an hour and we're what were we thinking? What?
Yep.
Who would think, we're already super tired. That's probably why we're doing it. It's we're super tired. We're like, yeah, we can play Rock Band for 8 hours straight. So yeah, we got half an hour, an hour. And we're like, no, this is not gonna happen. We're going to bed. Yeah. This is not gonna go. So yeah, that's kind of an extension. So anyway, actually, while we're on Rock Band 2.
Yeah, actually, that's probably another one of those achievements that we don't like kind of thing. Rock Band 1. Having a whole bunch of their gameplay. Having a whole huge segment of their gameplay locked off so that only bands can play, which means local co-op.
Now, let me go into this one because I forgot to mention it in what I played this week because Warren and I played some Rock Band 1, actually, because I had one on my random to-do list. And I was thinking, because I played this a bunch with my friends, like whenever I could get them to agree to play it with me, I would get them to play it with me for achievements because I wanted to complete Rock Band 1. And so basically, like, most of the stuff is just from the on-disc songs, which is only, I think there's like 60 of, and most of the cities require you to play about 40 songs to get the achievement for each city. And there are a lot of city achievements. So that means you're pretty much playing the whole set list like
multiple times,
like
over
30 plus times, which is brutal. And it's annoying because there are only a few make your own set lists that you can use DLC on. And if you could use DLC in half of it, it would be fine. But so then
even so, it's something you can't work on by yourself, and it's just really I'm probably never going to get that because the people I used to play with have long since moved on. So
it's so bad, and I was reminded because it had been so long since I had even gone into that mode, like probably 5 years, and I'd forgotten all of the stupid things that you have to do. So it's like, you have to have at least 2 people on whatever instrument, except the instrument that you started the band on and the character you started the band with have to always be in the session to play. So since I started it with a guitar player named Enter Name, that guitar player always has to be a member of the band, period.
Yep.
And Rock Band 1, each character was assigned to one instrument only. So like if Enter Name cannot play drums, he can only play guitar. Yep. And John can only play drums. He can't sing. He can't play guitar. It's like, what were they thinking? And then this mode that is offline only, keep in mind, you cannot, the game has online multiplayer, but it does not have online career. And it's just, oh man.
Yeah, that's a bit frustrating. They did a lot better. They did a lot better in Rock Band 2.
Yes, Rock Band 2 was fantastic. Yeah. Great game.
Stephen, do you have a funny achievement story for us?
I don't know about funny, but as far as getting something that I didn't expect.
If it's not funny, then we don't want to hear it. No, I'm kidding.
Okay, never mind that. I mean, so a group of us decided, hey, the Chromehound servers are going down. Let's just go through and get what we can out of it. You know, we're never going to get completion, but some of us had single player achievements already, so we'd do what we could. So we kind of did what we could to. Chromehounds is, as a background, an online game where there's like territories and wars going on all the time, and different factions and clans earn victory and things along those lines. But it's actually based on people playing. And there's a lot of achievements like win the war or be in the clan that gets like top honors for the war and all these other things. So we knew we weren't going to get those kind of things, but we said, well, you know what, let's push some victories through, try to get our own things going the way we want them to go to try to at least get a few achievements at the end. We ended up pushing things so much that the people who actually were running the game, per se, said, hey, stop. You're messing with our mojo. If you want achievements, we'll get you achievements. So then there's this whole process of going through all these clans and groups, and this guy's going to get this one's going to get this one. If we put you here at the end, you're going to get these achievements. But if you want all that stuff, we need you to host these lobbies for us, like 24/7 for a while, so that we can get a lot of people XP and push things the way we want to push them. So I spent months kind of just hosting things and keeping it running and babysitting lobbies and things like that. And anyways, at the end of the day, I did get a full completion out of the game, which was totally unexpected. But it ended up being a lot more than I thought it was going to be going into it. So I guess it kind of falls under the unexpected and tough as opposed to unexpected and fun category.
Although, making someone lose their mojo is kind of funny.
Yeah, it was. Well, it was kind of funny because they're like, we're just a couple guys.
So did you guys just have so much boosting power that you like offset the entire established people?
We offset enough of it that they were having to come back and clean up things they didn't want to clean up and make their life annoying enough that they were willing to work with us.
And they did the smart thing where they just said, hey, we can get you we know you guys just want the achievements. Like, we'll get them for you.
Stop.
Yeah, my sort of funny story, I guess, is related to Rock Band 2 Endless Set List. And first time I tried to do it, I was trying with a friend. We just said, okay, let's do it. We can do it online. We'll go through and get the set list done. So that was fine because the Bladder of Steel, I think, requires you to get through it all without failing a song as well and not pausing.
No failing, no pausing.
Yeah. So we got through, the first time we did it, we got through to, I think we got, there was one of the first sort of notoriously difficult songs, and we failed. It's like, oh, okay. Well, we'll start again.
Depends
we'll try
on what
again.
Instrument.
Yeah, I think it was
that game kind of had there were 3 or 4 songs on each instrument that were the difficult one for that instrument.
Yeah.
And then there were 2 or 3 that were crazy for the whole band.
Yeah, I think it was like Painkiller or something like that we got to, and that was
Painkiller, Panic Attack, and Visions are the 3 that are really tough.
Pretty sure we got the Painkiller, and we failed out. I was doing vocals, and I think the other guy was doing guitar, and he failed out on guitar. So that was damn, okay, we didn't get it. We'll try again the next time. So we start up another day. We're working away at it. We get through about 3/4 of the set list. We're almost up to Painkiller again. And it's like, yep, okay. Well, I think we actually got past Painkiller this time. It's like, awesome. And then my internet dropped out, which completely invalidates the entire session. So it's not only does it not pause, it also completely drops you out of the set list, totally. You can't even continue at that point. Totally ruined the session. And that was just like, oh. So I ended up taking a day off, and I did the entire thing solo on vocals, which it's a bit of a slog, but it was about getting around about halfway through, and I was like, "Yep, I kind of need to go to the toilet." This whole Bladder of Steel thing is pretty accurate here. Fortunately, the room where I had the Xbox set up was literally across our sort of little hallway from where the toilet was, and the microphone has a very, very long cable on it. So I was literally whilst playing the game, still singing away. Yep, went to the loo, relieved myself, got the Bladder of Steel. So
the old Bladder of Steel achievement.
Yep. So that was my story.
Yeah.
Good question. Good question,
yeah,
Philip.
That was a good one. So we have a PM to Freem from Tatey up next. If everybody's gamer score was reset to 0, would you still continue to hunt achievements? Would it spur you on more knowing that if you could potentially be number 1 or close to it? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I knowing how.
So you're saying I can't be number 1?
Well, you could be number 1. You're getting
pretty close again.
You're just going to have to start over and keep ahead.
Which honestly would probably happen anyway. I don't know.
Yeah,
do you keep pace more than other people? Mostly.
I don't know. Okay. I don't watch that enough to know. I mean, honestly, I know people ask me all the time, right? I'm not looking that closely to know. I'm doing what I do, and what happens, right? It's not an avoidance thing on my part. It's not an active thing I'm working for on my part. It just is.
That's just the games you play and how much you play them.
Yep.
Yeah, knowing how competitive some people are in the achievement scene, if everybody's gamer score was reset to 0, I think I would have absolutely 0 chance of ever getting close to maintaining number 1. No. I can't see it happening just because I know the kind of people out there who would immediately jump on that and be at, ridiculously high amounts of gamer score within a week. So I even wonder if, and certainly no offense to you, Stephen, but I kind of wonder, even if, the Stallions and the Smrnovs would even be able to keep up with some of the competitiveness.
Oh, no. I probably couldn't. But I've always been a long game guy, though, right? I've seen so many flash in the pan people come and go. These guys are like, oh, look, he's rocketing up the leaderboard. He's going to make it. And
then you burn out.
A year or two later. Yeah. I mean, if you play like that, you're going to kill yourself.
Well, and also, there's also, these days, there's a lot of gamer score that can be farmed fairly quickly. So you can rock it up there, but then you peter out because you've kind of gotten through all of the really quick stuff.
I am where I am because I finished my games. A lot of people who just grab the low-line fruit in the game, it eventually is going to catch up with you.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry.
Yeah.
That's off topic to the point in question, but
no, I don't think so. It's certainly. I don't think it would spur me on knowing that I could potentially be number one, because I don't see myself in the competitive field that we have that I would be able to do that. Certainly, I don't have the time to put into it that others would, and I guess I don't quite have the impetus to do it either. I don't think. Being number one on the Gamerscore leaderboard is not really something I ever really wanted to achieve. It's sort of like it's one of those, that's something I will never ever get close to being. So what's the point in trying to think about doing it? I don't know that it would. Whether I continue playing Xbox games or continue with Gamerscore if everything was reset to 0, I'm not sure. If everything was reset to 0, I would probably start for. I think I probably would. Just because I enjoy it, but I think I would probably become a bit more of a completionist again. I'd be starting to watch my unobtainables and watch my discontinueds and trying to get my completion percentage as close to 100% from the 0 again. It'd be interesting. I don't know what you think about that, Crandy, about trying to get your completion percentage back there.
I mean, a huge appeal to me is. I mean, it has been a motivator since I really got into achievements seriously, is completing everything on my tag that's been there for, I've just rolled over to 10 years recently of Xbox Live Gold, which I thought I had, I don't know. I thought I got gold like in December or something, but I don't know. Yeah, it rolled over to 10 years. And like, there's still stuff on my tag that I haven't touched in almost 10 years. But I don't know, if all that just went away, I would definitely game in a very different way. I mean, it would, of course, I would still play Xbox games, but I would probably be a lot more likely to play things without achievements. Which I don't know. The last couple of weeks, I've actually been doing that more.
Wait. Playing for fun?
Yeah, I know.
What?
Like I'd probably spend more time playing competitively in Killer Instinct. I might pick up Super Smash Bros. I'd finish System Shock finally, because I mean that's like another thing. I've been playing RuneScape and System Shock quite a bit the last couple of weeks. I mean, System Shock last week, RuneScape this week, and neither of those have achievements. And I've been enjoying that a bit. So I probably wouldn't do as much achievement-wise. I would never, ever do this, stuff on my tag like Quake and Gra again, ever.
Yeah.
Because that's just that thing. Like, you lose that, it's gone. I would never try and get to where I am in Games Windows Live again, because that was another one of those things where I did a big push for a long time and played a lot of games I don't really like, long hard games that I don't really like, just to kind of get as much as I could in that window, and losing all that, it would definitely demotivate me for a very long time. And in terms of like trying to take the leaderboards, no way. It's like you said, it's something that's so impossible that I just don't even think about it. Like, I mean, I've got, like, I think it was off air we were talking about it. I have in 10 years what you put up in a year, Stephen. Like, I mean, if I was really going for just Gamerscore, I'm sure I could put up that many points too, or maybe not quite that many, but I could probably put up 100K a year. But I don't want to just do that. I want to complete my games, and I want to complete my old hard games that have been there forever staring at me.
Which I guess says more things about Stephen, in that he can put on 120,000 Gamerscore a year and complete those games. Yeah. So that's a real really impressive. Yeah, it's just really impressive. That's all I got to say about that. So, Stephen, did you have thoughts on this question?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. If it all went back to 0, I'm kind of in the same boat. I don't think there's a lot of stuff I want to go back and do again. I mean, honestly, I'd probably just fire up my PC and settle back into an MMO somewhere. Play role-playing games on the weekends, and that would be that. That's and again, I'm what I'm doing now isn't any more or less time than the things I did when I was doing those things. It's just I changed the focus, right? When I started getting achievements on games back in the day, I spread it out over more games. And it's not even that I dislike, that I'm playing so many different games and trying different things, but there are a lot of things that aren't fun. And you often don't know until you've already started it, right? I mean, hey, this looks like it, and it's it's not always a crap title that's the case on. You might find something that everybody gave a bad rating, but I didn't really mind that much. I thought it was kind of cool, or something that's this is so awesome, you gotta check it out, and you play it, and like, oh, this kind of sucks. So I get a lot more of that in my life than I would have if I didn't do achievement hunting. So.
And I mean, even this with achievement hunting too, because it has that kind of like overarching game on like the games that make up the whole game. Even the things that aren't that fun, you complain about them and they're not fun, but they are still fun. It's kind of that weird kind of not fun, but it's fun.
Like you said, I mean, you guys recognize, having somebody else say something you do is impressive is always cool, right? I mean, whether it's in a single game, whether it's in every game you play. Just like what you just said. I mean, nobody dislikes that. Right? So if you can find a game that you're really good at, you did that. Wow, you did that faster than anybody else did that. Cool. Or hey, you did that one achievement in a cool way or something like that. So.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, so I don't know. It's because I've thought about it before too. Like I'd always think, because like I know at least one person who had a lot of Gamerscore and a lot of completions and got banned and just like started over immediately. And it's like, man, I could not do that. Like it's just because I had thought about it, like what if my tag got banned? Like I don't know if I'd start over. It's something I've definitely thought about before. Because that's just the way I look at being reset. Like I just look at that. That's my reset. It's like, okay, you get banned. What do? You start over. It's like, well, I just play RuneScape again. Yeah. That's just it might be more appealing.
I would keep gaming. I don't think my gaming would stop, but it would definitely be different.
Yeah. No, my gaming would definitely not stop, but it would not be the way it is now. That's for sure. Yeah. So, anyway, good question. Next, comment from Fufu Cuddly Poof about jargon. He said, I have a suggestion for the show notes that may help new listeners. Everyone here has our jargon that we use frequently, like TA, Bean Dive, GTask, Knobs and Discos. And he's saying it might be helpful to add a new spot in the show notes on just what it all means and why it's called what it is. You guys are good with saying what they are, but when I first started listening, when you would talk about different things, I was totally lost. Just an idea that could easily enough be copy and pasted in each show notes, assuming that there's room. I agree. Didn't we have a running thing at some point?
Funnily enough, right at the bottom of every single page of the show notes, there is in fact a link to a thing called the Glossary of Xbox Gamerscore and Achievement Jargon and Terms. So that's pretty much since episode 4 or something like that, I've had that sitting there. So yes, it's a great idea, and in fact, we already do it. Maybe the link is not quite prominent enough, so I'll have it directly in the references there for this show. But there is in fact already a jargon page that I wrote up.
Because I thought we had one, and that's why I was confused. So yeah, I guess. Yep. Maybe bold it, make it big. Yeah. I don't know. Can we make it giant?
Put some cats on it or something.
Yeah.
It's one of those projects asks you love at work. Can you do this for me? Sure. Done.
Yep. But yes, it's definitely a good point. We do have a lot of internal jargon for Xbox related stuff. So it was something that came up pretty early in the podcast that I identified as an issue, because we tend to just go, GTask 1K GTask.
Well, because we sit down like we're just having a conversation. I mean, especially at the beginning, it was kind of let's talk about it. And that's how we talk to each other, everyone that you're boosting with or in GTask with or on TA with knows what all these things mean.
It's like, what's boosting? What's 1K? Like, yeah. And Yeah. So there's all of that. So yes, and bean dive. I mean,
the amount
of times I've explained what the actual bean dive is and how it started. People going, oh, that's what that's about. It's like, yeah, it's named after the guy. Anyway,
because if you just heard bean dive, you'd be like, what's a bean dive?
What? Yeah.
What's that?
Yeah, but yes, it's already there. We'll be in the show notes, linked directly, and I'll maybe ping you privately if there's a problem or if you can't find it. Cool. Let's move on to Knobs and Discos, and then sort of wrap up the show for or hand over to Freem for the outro at least. So Knobs and Discos had a reminder from Big L that the WWE 2K16 servers are going down on May 31st. So you have this month basically to wrap up anything you need to do in that game. So thanks for the heads up there, L. There's a unobtainable in Trulon, the Shadow Engine. Trulon, the Shadow Engine is the game Hunter x Hunter that has been fixed. So that's some good news there. And Animal Hunter from Flame in the Flood is also no longer discontinued. In bad news, though, Vendetta from the new Zeros DLC, and the fact that it's even got DLC is kind of bad news.
What a surprise.
It's
unobtainable zeros.
It's a 0 point achievement as well, which is kind of anything. The entire DLC for that game came out with 0 points. I'm not really sure what's going on there, whether that's an error or not, quite possibly. Anyway,
never know with that one.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people are going to be pretty unhappy with that, given it was a Games with Gold, and they probably started it and regretted doing so ever since. Although the difficulty was brought down a lot, so it's not as insurmountable. But anyway. Halo Wars 2, there was an achievement, 2 heads are better than none. That's no longer discontinued from a TA alert I got earlier. And there's also a PSA on Project Cars. There's an achievement in that may become unobtainable later this year. That was just released on True Achievements, a True Achievements article for that one. So I just wanted to give a shout out as well to the hardworking people in the GI team where I get a lot of this information from, and also the people who submit that stuff to True Achievements for testing. So the community there, they're very good at finding these things or pointing them out or testing and so forth. So. Kudos to all of those guys. So I guess we'll wrap it up there. I'll say a big thanks. Yeah, sorry,
just real quick on the Knobs and Disco and PSA front.
Yep.
Had you touched on the Windows Phone issues or no?
No, they seem to be resolved. So I guess
they are. Okay. For anybody who's holding off on getting Windows Phone achievements, they're fixed.
Yeah, that's right.
I also heard that they are actually fixing achievements for people properly this time too. So if you have any that are stuck, I think there's somewhere, I'm not sure what the forum is, but it's somewhere on the Xbox forums that
let's step back a couple of points here. The Windows Phone achievement system basically completely died for a space of about a week there, didn't it? Nothing would unlock, as far as I can gather. I don't use Windows Phone, so I was basically completely immune to it. But there are a lot of people complaining about they've done the requirements for the achievements. They unlocked on the phone itself, but just didn't actually get any further than that. So there was it was about a week or so, and it was finally acknowledged and fixed. And from what you're saying, Randy, there is a place to potentially go and get ones that aren't fixing themselves up to cover. If somebody can send us a link to that would be good to the support forum for that. But it's probably in the support forum somewhere.
I imagine it's probably a hot thread at this point.
Yeah.
I would guess. I don't know. I don't venture over there too often.
Yeah. So I guess that's about it for us. So thanks as usual, Randy, and a very special thank you, Stephen, for joining us this week. It's been great to chat with you.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
And I guess we'll hand over to Freem for some zombie news and a bit of a bit of the competition updates. There's basically a changing of the month, so there'll be a few changes, new gamer tag challenge and the new random to-do lists and all that sort of stuff coming up.
You're listening to Z to Z.
Well, thank you, Tarragon, for the handoff, but you guys forgot one critical detail. Email of the week. So, I took a little listen, and I'm giving it to Philip Wendell for his question and comment about achievement stories. While I don't want to hear any more about Rock Band from this crew, I mean, that's what happened, the question still validates our existence as a podcast, and at least one person likes to hear about achievement stories and what we've been up to, so I'm guessing there might be more, but at least we have one. Runner-up, of course, is my own question, because that one is great, despite Randy being completely unable to deliver it properly. It happens, right? He's not listening to this podcast anyway. So, with that being said, hey, zombie news time, right? I got a great one this week. So, my son and I have been reading a series of books called The Last Kids on Earth. And we just finished the first book, and we're in the middle of the second book. And of course, these are kids' books, but what ends up happening is in these books, a monster apocalypse happens. Specifically zombies. That's the rank and file of these monsters, but there's also some big bads out there. But fits totally in theme with the zombie thing. It's a middle school kid, kind of a nerdy dude. And now he's thrust in the middle of the zombie apocalypse, and he's making the best of it, right? Okay, so that ties into the zombie part, but here's the kicker. The guy who wrote this, I'm going to butcher his last name because I can't tell if it's French or not, because, it's got that IER, but it's the Max Brallier, I want to say. Could be Brallier. I want to say Brallier. Sounds French. Makes him, a little more prestigious. Anyway, doesn't matter. So there's a series of these books out there, and so the main character is middle school kid, and so he likes middle school kid things. And you have to believe that involves video games. And that's the best part. So not only does this world have a zombie apocalypse associated with it, but the kid actually embraces video games so much that he actually name drops Xbox in this one. But the best part of it, and he calls them, they're kind of his reason for continuing his existence. Why he goes and does the things he does is he calls them feats of apocalyptic success. And there is a part in this book where he gives them point values. And so he does things that are silly, but that just keeps him entertained, like punch a zombie in the face, 5 points. Put a road cone on a zombie's head, 10 points. Trip a zombie, and just doing things like that, being silly and fun, and so anyway, he made an achievement system in his game for playing real life video games in the zombie apocalypse. It is great. It's a beautiful synergy of video games and zombies, and it's a fun read. It's super quick story. I read these with my son in like 3 days. He just loves them. They're fun, and they're just a great set of stories. So anyway, if you want a quick fun read, especially if you have middle school age kids, I know Damien, you got a son who's like my age. Anyway, boys my age would love this book. They're fun. They're great, and it's a nice mix of zombies and achievements. So that is my zombie news of the week. I want to get quick little recap. I mean, Philip Wendell said he wants to hear about achievement stories, so I'm going to give him some achievement stories. I had a remarkably busy week this week. Of course, the reason I'm not on the show proper is I was at a funeral on Friday. My uncle passed away, which sucked, and so I had to go out of town. So I missed out on a lot of gaming this weekend, but what also sucked is, and you heard on the intro of the last show, I got really sick, like crazy sick, super horrible fever, 101 degree fever. It was terrible, but I powered through it in the name of gaming, because that's what we do, man. We got to buck up and get this thing going. So on Monday, I had a hugely successful day where I played a crap ton of video games, mainly to focus on the random to-do list, and chip off things off that and finish up the Gamertag Challenge for the month of April. So, I hit up Disney Infinity real quick. some of you who are in the chat saw me asking for help on Drawful and Fibbage to get people in a lobby so we can get those achievements unlocked, but I ripped through those pretty quick. I had a couple of drop-ins on those for the Gamerscore categories on there. There's some high point values on that one. Played some Adventures of Pip. Still like that game. My plan was to go and beat that game, but I couldn't push forward. Knowing that I can't get all the Gamerscore categories anyway, I was all right with that. I finished all of the summer levels in iZombie to get my eye. Of course, this month there's lots of eyes, and so you need to save those up. Eventide Slavic Fable. The beauty of this Artifex Mundi game is you don't actually have to play this one twice. There's no a side game that you have to do, like all the mahjongs or all the dominoes or whatever. It's simply just play through the game on expert, no hints, blah, 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 which I did. And I missed a bestiary card. Oh my God, I know. I was at 29 of 30. I looked, and the room I was in was too far to advance or to go back. I had advanced to a point of no return, presuming that I had missed a card toward the end there. I don't even know, to be honest. And so now I have to replay the whole stupid game again for one stupid card. Now, I have heard that, and I don't know if it's true for this game, but games from Artifex Mundi will award the achievement when that unique card is picked up. So as I go through, I hit up the ones I already got, and at some point, whenever I cross the one that I missed, the achievement should pop. Now, I do think it's toward the end. It's like one of the last 3 that I missed. So, that sucks. I still got 5 hours of gameplay ahead of me to do that. But I'm super close to completion on that, and I will finish that one. I will. Not this month, though. I'm going to save that letter E for a future gamer tag. But I have 2 achievements left, that and then the bonus level at the end, which is probably another hour of gameplay or whatever. But that game was kind of fun. Finished that one off. I played Toby the Secret Mind for a little bit. Very Limbo-esque, like we've talked about in Review Z before. It's fine. I made it to, past the first... It's not really levels per se, but I got hung up on one of the puzzles where I couldn't get the signs thing to work, and... I ended up looking it up and being like, these are the signs that you should have seen in the past. I'm like, I did that. And it didn't. Oh, but people have experienced a glitch. Oh, okay, great. Glitch. That's fun. So then I just started putting in random combinations, and finally it unlocked, and I was able to progress. And I said, you know what? I'm not going to continue wasting my day on this. Let's do something else. And so I got the achievement I was looking for, first 100 deaths. You like that? 200-pointer, baby. Moved into Dark Arcana. That one for me, so there was an achievement in there that I targeted for the Gamerscore categories, but that required me to play through doing the hidden object puzzles. Then I noticed on my random to-do list that the achievement I needed for that one was to do the other set of games. I think that one's Monaco or whatever, some weird dice game thing. Anyway. Or not dice, card thing. And the problem is there are achievements tied to beating all of the hidden object games or all of the tile game, mahjong game. So I had to play through the whole thing. I mean, there's no other choice, right? So I played through the whole thing, beat the whole game, and then came back, circled around, and did my 3 games without shuffling to get my random to-do list knocked off. Of course, this whole entire week I've been chipping away at Age of Empires, still looking for someone to tell me it's worth my time, because now what's ended up happening is as I'm looking for people to battle, there's not many crowns left for me to steal. So before I was getting 1 crown per battle, now I have to refresh a bunch of times because everyone has 0. I think I've bled this thing dry. So I'm dangerously close to pushing the trigger on building my keep to level 5. I know it's a terrible idea because I'm going to get the crap beat out of me. It's going to take so much longer, but I think I have 135, 136 crowns, and I need 2,000. Oh, do I really even want this completion? Anyway, at this point, I had pretty much that was essentially the end of my day, the big point scoring day. I can tell you my what my total was on that, because that's actually my new biggest milestone of a day, the most points I've ever scored in one day. To be honest, I've never had that much freedom to play games like that. It's glorious. All you people who don't have, like, when Crandy had no job, oh my God, sounds like a pure dream to me. Except for the lack of money and, being completely codependent on your wife. But anyway, so April 24th, my sick day, scored 4,000 TA, 47 achievements, 3,245 gamer score. That is fantastic. That is not my highest achievement total day. That was actually July 9th, 2016, where I got 52 achievements in one day. I wonder what I did that day. They're all really low scoring. But I'm going to look it up now. That's what it was. That was the day that I transferred my character over from Destiny. So I got 51 achievements for syncing my Destiny completion over. That's why it was so good. Fun. Okay, back to what I did. So that was sick day, and decided, okay, it was fine. I went on my trip out east, and I should tell you about that trip. No, I'm not going to. But I am going to say, when I got back, that it was the 28th, 29th, 30th. I'm running out of time. So I had 2 more letters to do for the Gamertag Challenge. I fired up Boggle, played a little bit of Boggle, just to get some easy achievements on that. Funny enough, I have a new Boggle achievement on my random to-do list. So cross my fingers, I can still work on that one. And then my entire month I've spent trying to do this Zombie Vikings achievement for my random to-do list, because it's such a high ratio right now, because it's brand new. It's like a 4.0 ratio. And I finally made it. I tricked my kids into playing past this level where I needed, other bodies to kind of help keep me alive. And so we finally made it to that point, and they oh my God, it was just pandemonium. The kids hate the game. They don't want to play it, and they'd much rather do Minecraft or something else. But this is for achievements, guys. You need to help Dad get achievements. Well, they gave up, and so I made it to the point where I found the location of this thing. It is the biggest convoluted mess ever. Now, I wrote a solution on trueachievements.com to how to get this, but man, it is super tough. You do need 4 controllers. You get all your people signed in, so I'm idling 4 controllers. It might be easier if people are actually controlling these other characters, but I try to do it all by myself. There's like 2 bullseyes to hit. You got to make a totem tower of your people. It's super convoluted. It took me like 40 minutes, I think, to try and coordinate this and get it open, but finally knocked that door down, got the achievement. Glorious ratio points for the random to-do list. That actually capped off my random to-do list earnings for the month at, I think I got 10 for almost 2,000 points. That's my high water, not my high water number of achievements, that was 11, but my highest point total at 1,900. So pretty proud of that, actually. That was a good month for me. Last 2 letters needed in the Gamertag Challenge. Quick fired up achievement or action news heroes. I cannot beat the second level in that game. That is just awful. And now that they nerfed that shotgun and I have to actually kind of play it for real, I just been kind of chipping away at some of the cumulative kill totals and saving hostages was the one I got here. Got my 1 achievement for that, and then I moved into Rogue Legacy. This is like my gem of the week here. I love this game. Okay, so here's the premise. You start off as a knight. It's the tutorial level. It's a 2D action platformer. Knight with a sword. You run around hacking dudes up, jump from plot to plot in your castle, and then you die. Okay, and then the next person in your heir, your lineage steps up to the plate, and this person is going to have some type of character traits. And it's all procedurally generated as a roguelike game, and you have an option of 3 different people. And so you start off pretty limited, right? You can have like a knave, a mage, and what the hell's the other one? Doesn't matter. Anyway, so you have, like a monk, I think, or something. Anyway, barbarian, that's what it is. And you have these different character traits. Sometimes there's none. Sometimes there's little quirks, things about them that have some effects on gameplay. But ultimately, you then go back into your castle, and the demon Charon, you might know him from the shepherd of the underworld, who brings people from the land of the living to the land of the dead. Across the river Styx, that's Charon. He is in front of your castle and says, "Give me all your money," and then you can go in the castle. So you're broke, you go into the castle, and then you just start playing. And the rooms are all randomly generated, but you have your main part of the castle is where you start, and there's a collection of rooms associated with that, and then above that, there's the Maya. To the right of that is the forest. Below is like the underworld or labyrinth or something. Anyway, there's these 4 other zones that are always in the same general area, but you never know which rooms connect up with them. And so you've got these procedurally generated rooms, procedurally generated loot, bad guys, all sorts of stuff. And just quirky, weird things happen in this game. And it's awesome. Like, it's so cool how it changes. And so whatever gold you amass during this run-through, which you will inevitably die, and then the next heir steps up, and they're going to have different traits. Nothing carries over. And then any of the money that you earn, you then can upgrade your keep, your town, essentially. So you can get a blacksmith who can help you unlock stronger weapons and armor. You can unlock an enchantress who will let you do runes and magical abilities. So like I have a rune right now that allows me to double jump. I have a rune that I can do lifesteal and mana steal. You can also unlock the architect. And here's kind of the kicker. So the architect will lock down the castle from changing because it changes every time. Now, if you ask the architect to lock it down, he is going to take 60% of your gold or 40% of your gold. Anyway, he takes essentially half your gold to do so. So you won't earn quite as much, but you'll already have the map. You'll know where everything is. Now, that's important if you're, boss hunting or you're going after something specific, but all those rooms that you already explored, you don't get the benefits of being able to reuse. Let's say there was a totem in there that gave you a magic item, right? That doesn't reset. Let's say there's a chest in there that you've already opened. That doesn't reset. So it doesn't behoove you to do that unless you have a really specific reason to keep the building the same. But let me talk about the best part, the quirky parts, is those traits. And this is where the game just absolutely shines. So some of the traits have negative effects, some have positive effects. Like one is gigantism, where your dude's a giant. He's like twice as big as any other of the sprites on the screen, and because he's so big, he does tons of damage. But he can't dodge, or he can't duck under things, so he gets hit more frequently. He's probably a little slower. That happens. So that's one way to play. Dwarfism on the flip side, where you guy's super tiny, and because he's tiny, for some reason he carries a really tiny sword, and so you got to get real close to bad guys. Doesn't necessarily do as much damage, but he's a little quicker. He can move around. Some I've seen are there's one where every time you get hit, you swear. A little word bubble comes up that swears. Some of my favorite ones are the aesthetic ones that happen. There's where you are colorblind. So you only see in black. You see in like sepia. You don't see in colors. That's kind of cool. There's monochrome, where actually you only see in black and white. That's actually kind of tricky. There's one where you're nearsighted. So there is a sphere around your guy. I guess it's a circle. It's in 2 dimensions. Around your guy that's super clear, crisp, looks like the normal game. And then as you get away from him, everything gets blurry because you can't see that far. There's also Farsighted, which is flipped, where you can see the peripheral of the screen pretty well, and then as you come to that inner sphere, everything gets blurry because you can't see that close. It's just so quirky and interesting. There's one, actually, this one was tough, Vertigo, where the game actually plays upside down. You have to, your dude runs across the ceiling and whatnot. There's one where you're crazy, insane, and like there's just, that one's fun. What the hell else was one of my favorite ones that I really enjoyed? Oh man, I forgot. But they're just so cool. Like it's such a neat little facet to this game, and essentially it's a pretty decent grind. I've already died at least 20 times, so I know I got the achievement for that. But and I barely made any progress in this. But man, the game's, it's one of those. Let me just play one more character. Right? I'm just gonna go run through one more time. That's all. One more time, and every one more time is like 5 minutes, 10 minutes. They just rapid fire, and it's so easy just to quick refresh. Oh, these are my new 3 I get to pick from. Oh, this guy, he's interesting. Oh, this guy has ADHD. So he moves crazy fast, like lightning speed. Oh, okay, yeah. I'm gonna take him. Let's go on an adventure with him. Man, I love this game. It's so much fun. And thankfully, I do have an achievement for this on my random to-do list this month. So I will get to play more of that. I'm excited. It's great. Finally, to finish up the month, I ranked in Prominence Poker. The season ends every month. I ended up getting Silver League, so I got 2 achievements in that. Getting they stack, so ranked bronze and ranked silver, and a bunch of chips, which was great. And I mentioned it at the end of last show. I was hoping that I'd be able to beat Heroic in Destiny, and I had a session set up that Sunday. Stayed up till 1:30 in the morning and totally failed. Like, our team couldn't get the challenge in place. Now, the challenge adds some extra mechanics to it, but still should not be that hard. We just had some communication issues. Not my fault, but there were some individuals. It happens. And so I ended up I left. I couldn't do it. I had to go to bed, and I was pissed. It was not a fun way to end that night. Well, I jumped onto a random game on Sunday night. I just happened to be clicking along, and I saw that there was an opening in 15 minutes, and I'm like, oh, well, let's just give it a shot, shall we? We ended up beating them twice that night, and it took me like an hour to do it. This team was rock solid. We were a well-oiled machine, took down Axis, no problem, and there it is. Got the achievement for beating a Heroic raid, the Wrath of the Machine raid. So I just have one more achievement left. I am currently... So to do that, you need to kill a bunch of bad guys to unlock this crest, and then I need 3 crests left. I've got the medallion to do it, but unfortunately, this week I already own the 3 that are for sale, so I have to wait for the vendor to change his inventory, which happens tonight, actually. So I will be able to get that, and then I think I'm going to try and keep maybe raiding once a month. Turns out killing bad guys in raids, good way to earn points toward that questing line, where I can then get my new medallion, and hopefully in 3 weeks, maybe all 3 that I need will be on sale this week. I don't know. Well, that wouldn't help me. I can only get 1 per week. Anyway, doesn't matter. That's it. Home stretch for Destiny, guys. Really excited about that. Holy crap, that was really long. I'm terribly sorry. But you want to hear about achievements? You want to hear about games? That's what I got for you. So that's going to do it for the show, guys. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed it. Because we enjoyed recording it. Hey, if you can help us out, give us a rating on iTunes or whatever you listen to this podcast on, that would be super helpful. Website, zzz.com, show notes, credits, links to things we've talked about. There are so many ways to reach us, but the best is Twitter, at zzzzed, TOZED, or email, contact@zzz.com. So, thank you to everyone that made this show possible, and on behalf of Randy, Smirnov, and Tarragon, this has been Brandon, and to all you achievement hunters and Gamerscore junkies out there, thank you so much for listening, and we'll catch you next episode. Hey, thanks for sticking around for the community roundup. It's a brand new month, guys, so we've got a ton of stuff to talk about for this new month. I want to remind everybody, if you have not done your April submissions, you still have a brief window to get those things in. So if you were able to earn achievements in games that start with the letters in Cerebral Assassin's name, get that submitted. If you did the Mokos chain reaction, put your chain in place, even if it's just a couple, 1 or 2. Right, I'm sure at some point you unlock 2 achievements that link. That's 2 entries, guys. All you need is a chip and a chair, so you get that going. And then of course the Gamerscore categories. Got a very tight window. Send me the private message. Lock in those submissions so I can start making a master list and calculating points. So. That's April, wrapped up, good to go. Let's talk about May, shall we? Well, before we talk about May, let's talk about the GTASC. We had a few eliminations, well, one elimination that I want to talk about that I missed from period 15, and it was X Towers, man. We lost X Towers in period 15. That was from the individual contest. We had a couple of near misses in period 16. We're now down to 325 individuals, my friends. That is a pretty slim pool, but 2 of the prominent near misses. Prue, host of the show, he survived last week by 15 TA. That was third to last. You cut it real close, Prue, but nobody cut it as close as CS Geek Squad. He was tied for first not eliminated because he survived by 1 TA. No lie. He survived by 1 TA. The guy who had to use 2 bonuses, just 1 TA short from staying safe. CS Geek Squad survives 1 TA. That is amazing how close that is. Congratulations, sir. As far as teams, no team eliminations. You guys are all killing it out there, and we are now sub 100 teams in the contest. That is quite the achievement. Great job to be in the double-digit ranks. Good on you. Good luck. Keep up the great work. Okay, now we can talk about May. The May categories, the May contest that we have up. Let's start with the Gamertag Challenge. We're using smrnov. Of course, that is Tim Blair backwards. If you want to know what letters are involved, nice mix. The double I, pretty tricky. Of course, we also got new random to-do lists for the month of May. So take a look at the forum. If you were eliminated because you didn't unlock anything, feel free to ask. We can roll you another list. If you are new to the contest, we can roll you a list at any time. And what it'll do is pull 25 achievements from your current games collection on trueachievements.com, and it'll give you something to do, something to go for. Every achievement you earn, you get that ratio in points times 100, so I have already unlocked 2 for the month of May. I had 2 in polychromatic, and so one of them is a 1.3 ratio, which means I get 130 points for unlocking that one. There you go. Nice and simple. And so, yeah, whoever gets the most points, we're keeping track over an entire year, but we are also giving out prizes each individual month. So every achievement that you unlock from your random to-do list gets you an entry into the prize draw. So, you know, even if you unlock 2 or 3, I know Sprinkle Demon last month or 2 months ago, he only got 3 that he unlocked, and guess what? Still won him a prize. So always worth your time to put it in there to submit, because you never know. Random.org may just smile favorably upon you. So that is the Gamertag Challenge, smrnov. That is the random to-do list. Now, we also have our Community Challenge for the month of May, and it is Telltale Month. And, of course, you're all familiar with Telltale games, the episodic story-driven games. That is what we're going with. Only the story-driven games. Now, of course, Telltale is now opening up a publishing arm, so I'm putting my foot down and saying no to 7 Days to Die, no to Poker Night 2. Those are not their story-based games. We are looking for the story-based episodic games. That is how you will earn achievements in this. And you get bonus achievements for completing them in this time period, starting and completing. Completing means all of the episodes that have been or will be released to the end of May. Okay? So don't think like, oh, well, I beat the base game in Walking Dead because it's only episode 1. No. Season 1 is all out. You have to play all 5 episodes. All 6 because of 400 days. Anyway, that's my rule. And also, it has to be Telltale. I know Life is Strange is one of my favorite games of all time, and Don't Nod did it so much better than Telltale is doing it, but it's not Telltale. Doesn't count. Sorry, guys. Play Life is Strange, though. That's a great game. But it won't count for this contest. So every achievement you earn gets you an entry into the prize pool, so good luck on that. Finally, the Mokas M. Surin's Overly Convoluted Achievement Spectacular. It is overly convoluted this month. May is the Force of May. Of course, May 4th coming up. Star Wars Day. May the 4th be with you. If you haven't heard that before, you must have been living under a rock. Anyway, M. Surin's asking you to unlock achievements that contain any words in the opening crawls to all 7 episodes that come out. So we've linked in the forums, forum.zzz.com. You can find all of the words in the crawl. And so, the example that he gave in his post involves every single word. So you'll get words like the and of and to, a, stuff like that. Like, you can sub those in, but each achievement can only fit into one spot. So, like, if you have you have one that says it is a bird, okay, well, you'd have to either pick it is a or bird as the word that you want. Bird's the word as the word that you want to submit in the crawl. So, for instance, episode 4, it is a period of civil war. So you can submit an achievement that has it, that has is, that has that has period, that has of, that has civil, that has war. You get the picture. Overly convoluted? Absolutely. Lots of opportunities for prizes? You bet there is. So get unlocking. Try and fit these in. If you're looking for the what the crawl looks like, we have a couple posts in the forum where you can actually look up what the actual crawl is and find words associated with that. Should not be terribly difficult, but you do have to match the word exact, okay? So if it says spaceship, you can't unlock the word with the word space in it, right? Now, granted, there are other parts of the crawl that just say space. Go over there, do that. But if it is in there, it has to be the way that it's written. So if it's a contraction, make sure it's a contraction, etc. So that, I think, about does it for real this time as far as this part of it goes. Thank you so much for listening to the Community Roundup. We hope you like to participate in these. And if you guys have any ideas for contests you want to see or things that you want to have, I have a couple things posted about what's coming up in the near months. You can check our forums. That's the place where we're going to post all this stuff. There'll be a crossover with TrueAchievements.com coming up here. That, obviously I'm the community manager there as well, and so you'll be able to double dip in that contest and in the Z to Z contest. So we look forward to having you guys on board. If you have any questions or need anything clarified, please reach out to me at Freamhole, FREAMWHOLE, or private messages, Freamhole on our forums, or contact at zzz.com. Great place as well. So, with that being said, guys, have a fantastic time earning achievements, and good luck on the contests.